The college football experience week 8 preview and picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100 times the amount of money you enter. That's right. Turn $5 into $500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN and Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. No, I'm sorry. hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. And finally, we're giving away $3,000 in our NFL Second Chance Survivor contest. Get in before Sunday. Presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. Free to enter, of course. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Once again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience week 8 preview and picks edition. I've been waiting all week. We got man, it's just a beautiful that we get CUSA action here. Every single Tuesday and Wednesday. I feel like we're finally home. We got a game kicking off in 17 minutes from one of the greatest places to catch a college football game, the Sun Bowl, where we got the Battle of I-10 since 1910. 100
doozy.
Yeah, you got to love that. And they're back they haven't been in the same conference since the 60s. So you got that going on. Like 30, 40 minutes.
What conference was it in the 60s? Do you know?
Man, I did know this, but I just didn't.
I got to pull that one up.
I looked at it earlier.
I'm curious.
Earlier today. But I don't remember. I'm just going to guess the WAC.
That was a lot. That was still a thing.
I feel like it was some like weird.
Probably some
weird sounding conference.
Yeah.
Look it up, Patty C.
Let's go. Folks, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, we got a loaded slate. I love these games on these weeknights. You know what I mean? I got that going on. We got Shane Beamer kicks a fucking Gatorade thing, breaks his foot. Hilarious.
it just means more. It just means more in the SEC.
Oh shit! Broke my foot.
That's a classic story. We played a game of football once. Pick up football, tackle football, and I like to think maybe this was his way of getting out of tackle football. But friend's dad, definitely like a hippie from the 60s. Went to go play tackle football with us, and he kicked off the opening kick. Stubs his foot on the ground before he makes contact with the ball. And then he goes, "Oh shit, broke my foot. I'm out." Great way.
I got to use that excuse.
Oh shit, broke my foot.
Doing yard work or something.
Yeah.
Digging a hole. Oh shit, broke my foot.
It's a good way to get out of something. You tell your wife tells you to go do that. Oh shit, honey, broke my foot. You know,
I do admire, not even taking a single hit in a game of pickup football. I don't want to get clocked.
I love how he knows it's broken instantly, even though I never saw that guy with a cast ever. Yeah. Like he's like, oh shit, I broke my foot.
Yeah, his son,
it's happened 20 times before.
That was Becker, right?
Yeah.
His son, I saw his son go down a hill on a skateboard at 40 miles an hour. He was probably going for a good 1/8 of a mile down this hill and then falls off and slides on his knees for about 50 feet, it seemed like.
That's not nearly as bad. I watched him get in a fight.
And he just gets up like nothing. He laughs like Beavis at it. Like,
he missed a layup, like an easy layup.
Yeah.
And decided to punch the school. Because the school was right, like it was outdoor. So he just said, you know what, I'm going to punch the school. Broke his hand right away.
Our nickname for him was Smoker because after like a basketball game, like if we were all playing pickup, after a game, like we'd run to get some water, some Gatorade, he'd light up a cigarette. First thing, like I don't need water.
Well, I worked for Vlade Divac. So, I mean, folks, I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh!
Let's get it going. Let's get it fucking going.
All
right.
My brother and I were talking, by the way, story time a little more. Not really story time, but pickup football. Imagine that in the Matthews family. Shane, Clay,
Bruce.
It's like everyone in that family is a Hall of Famer, or close to it. Imagine being on their Thanksgiving. Imagine being the boyfriend coming over, dating the daughter.
You're just
like shit.
I'll join in. Oh shit, he's good. That's like I told you this story. The last time I played tackle football, it's on Thanksgiving, and I went down. My buddy played pro ball in Europe, right? So he's like, dude, let's play tackle football. We're probably like 26, 27, maybe 28. I don't know. Somewhere
a little too old to play.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And he's friends. This is here in LA. And his friend was so he played with some really talented guys, but a lot of Samoan dudes.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. One guy who got the ball, who just completely ran me over, was the brother of a former Miami Dolphins defensive tackle. Right. Oh man, and I was playing.
I thought you were gonna drop Fuamatu Ma'afala on us.
Yeah, it was pretty much.
Yeah.
He was Fuamatu Ma'afala, and I was just this little bitch in the way. And let me tell you, man, I got ran over. Now I did make the tackle. He didn't score.
Boom.
But I was sucking wind, man. I fucking vomit. I was a little hungover from the night before, but I'm saying vomiting on the sidelines. Just. I mean, that was the last football game I ever played in, because dude, that hurt for like a month.
I don't know that I've ever gotten hit so hard that I vomited.
Oh yeah, man.
But Samoans have that effect.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man. I was bartending at the time. Like 2 weeks later, I was still bartending. I was like, oh, my bones still fucking hurt from getting ran over on Thanksgiving, man.
I think that's called a bruised rib.
Yeah, we are joined by third man in the booth, the DFS god himself, which we invite you to come play DFS with us. We have an episode dropping tomorrow morning. So, folks, check it out. But yeah, we invite you to come play DFS. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lot giving, former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's up, guys?
Just talking old war stories. Oh shit, broke my foot. Well, Patty C, you missed it. We did a show. Me and NC Nick did a show on Monday. We were talking about how we would play quarterback contests and just peg people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the most. It's something that I don't know how it got lost from this from our generation.
People on the street with the football,
friends and random people.
I don't know if Patty C was like coming over to our house at that point.
He wasn't on bike. He wasn't coming over to on bike, so he doesn't know.
Exactly. The person would have to be riding a bicycle, like down the street, and we just take aim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But at first, you have to yell, quarterback challenge.
That's why it's fair game. That's why it's fair game. Look, you can't call me an asshole unless if I did a silent quarterback challenge, then I am an asshole.
That's a dick move. Yeah. True
dick move. You're yelling out quarterback challenge, and then you just throw up, A ball.
Throw a bullet
We're
at
like
the back of
30
their head.
yards away too. So I mean, like
You give them a second and a half to react.
Yeah.
Figure out what the hell you're talking
And
about.
they can
and if
catch
they
the
don't,
ball
right.
and keep going. We never have a football ever again. That's what I'm saying, but
Never happened, but
cowards, we obviously our neighborhood. We didn't have a lot of receivers in the neighborhood. Right. Anyway, folks, week 8 is here. And I mean, this is just a loaded slate. Can we talk for a second about these ridiculous rankings? I want you guys to make sense of this to me. Database top 25 is out. I have to put it out on the podcast form, but it's out on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. So I'm just a little confused here, guys. Notre Dame is 6-2. They were down 20 to Louisville, right? 10 days ago in the 4th. Now they buttered it up, made it 13 with like 10 seconds left or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Notre Dame is 6-2. Louisville is 21. I'm sorry. Notre Dame's 6-2 at number 15. Louisville's 21 at 6-1. What in the fuck are we doing? Louisville's played more Power Fives,
has one less loss,
and just beat them
and
by basically
head-to-head.
20 points. This is why it's a sham. This is why you need a large playoff, because they'll never give the proper respect where we can trust this. This system sucks. You need a large enough playoff. I'm not talking 12, larger to cast, because this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. And it happens like this all the time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I pay zero attention to rankings. So this is my first time looking at these, in a couple of years probably. But yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. And since Patty C's right here, the one other glaring weakness here is that JMU is not in the top 25.
Yeah. I mean, dude, there's so much stupid shit. But the reason why I mention this is I know we know the ratings are a joke, but this costs schools money. This is $1 million machine here. If you're higher ranked, more people come there. More, you know what I mean? Like you can
negotiate. You get more.
There's more fan
TV.
interest. There's more viewers on TV.
Yeah.
This is absolute bullshit, man. It's like, who's voting? They should have to answer to this, because it's like, who the fuck put them? You should have to have like a security guard watch 12 hours of football, because I don't understand how you get this from this. You know what I mean? Like it
sounds like it's a rigged system, huh?
It is. It's rigged. This is like a third world election. You know what I mean? It's just. Maybe it happened here. This is like a first world election. Right?
That's right. That's true. Arizona recount.
Oh man. I don't know. Anyway, folks, look,
we should have a recount. We should demand a recount.
Who is voting for that? Who the fuck? Did they not watch the game last week? Did they not watch the game last week? This is 10 days ago. This isn't week 1.
Well, let's face it.
Fucking days ago.
The three of us watch a lot more football than 85-90% of the people that vote on that. So whether it's the AP or the coaches, it doesn't matter.
Maybe we create a system where the people that watch the games can properly rank the fucking teams. Then
I think the three of us should personally.
Yeah, I've said that forever.
TCE
man.
top 25.
And then JMU not in the top 25. They've more road wins than any team in the whole top 25. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. They have a better resume than Georgia. Georgia's got 1 win over a team over 500.
Oh, that's the other thing too. I mean, they're not looking at this year. They must be looking at the last 2 years. Because what has Georgia done to deserve?
Let me push back a little bit. Georgia has whooped a lot of teams' asses
this year.
Yes, JMU has.
They just
played some pretty tight games.
A 1-score game with Vanderbilt.
Well, it ended up being like a 3-score game, right?
No, that's 16, right?
Is that 16, 17, somewhere in there? Anyway, look, Georgia's pretty damn good.
JMU has actually been up double digits every game of the season.
Yeah, they have been way out in front. Those scores are a little deceptive, but anyway,
dude, JMU's resume is better than Georgia's resume right now.
Who does JMU belong over though in the top 25?
Like everybody.
They're at number 26 right now. In both
they have more
the coaches and the AP.
They have more road wins than they deserve to be in the top 10.
Bold statement. I just feel like maybe you want to beat another ranked team, and
ranked.
That would be.
I just told you the rankings are a fucking joke.
Well, look, all right, we maybe on a computer metric. I don't want to overhype the boys here, but again, winning close games against
Close games. They just blew out Georgia Southern.
They did rock Georgia Southern.
They were up 28 on Utah State.
Yeah, they were rocking South Alabama.
What are these close games you speak of?
Well, they let them back. It's not the voters' fault that it is the fault that they aren't watching the game.
Yes,
but it's not their fault that the final score looks pretty damn close in a lot of these. I mean, they did hold off Troy. Troy had an opportunity to win that game.
TCU was winning close games last year. They were in the top 10.
True.
Why is Miami still receiving votes in both polls?
Absolutely, dude.
Miami?
They were ranked last week after they lost to Georgia Tech
over JMU.
Yeah,
that tells you everything you need to know.
Unfucking believable. It is the shittiest system. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I could dig deeper. Oregon is ahead of Oregon State. Why? Oregon's best win is against Colorado. Oregon has one win against a team over 500, and that is the Colorado Buffaloes, 4-3. Right? Oregon State's only beaten 5-1 Utah, 4-2 UCLA. Fuck you, voters.
You know what the worst part about all this is? Okay, the AP is kind of like what Ring Magazine. It all it really does is track the lineal champion. Yes,
does Ring Magazine still exist?
It still exists, and as a matter of fact, it's probably the most respected. I guess determiner of champions in boxing because all these the alphabet belts kind of just are corrupt or whatever. They're not recognizable. There's too many of them. Whereas Ring Magazine is basically the AP. They're like, all right, we are who we are. We do it our way. Whoever beats who, is the champion.
Yeah.
Even if they're ducking people left and right, and it happens in boxing too. But college football has a committee that is the authority, kind of like Dana White has for the UFC, and yet. In the UFC, I'm pretty sure it's just like there's no like reports of corruption. You fight who you have to. There's a system to it, and there's a lot of transparency. Whereas in college football, we're 8-9 years into this playoff, we still don't know what criteria leads to.
They move the goalpost. They move
ranked,
the goalpost nonstop. Dude, how about this one? How about this one here? Louisville number 21, Tennessee 17. Tennessee has one win over a team that's 500, and they might not even be 500. They're Texas A&M 4-3. Their second best win is UTSA without both teams didn't have their starting quarterback, right? UTSA's 3-3. Meanwhile, Louisville has
they lost to Pitt.
Okay, whatever. They've played double the amount of Power Fives as Tennessee. They won against Notre Dame by double digits.
I don't think this is your best argument because Pitt sucks.
What? Tennessee's got nothing on their resume that says they're good.
I agree, but
nothing.
I'm just not getting behind this because of how they lost to Pitt. I don't know. Let's jump into some games here. These rankings.
Tennessee lost by double digits at Florida.
Well, let me say, Notre Dame doesn't get punished because they were on a grind and they finally hit their limit of, and they got beat by Louisville. The grind was too hard for them. Louisville was on a similar grind.
That's what I'm saying.
And they finally lost.
They played more. Louisville played the most Power Fives right now.
Louisville gets
you stop the season. Louisville's played the most Power Fives. They've played double a lot of other teams. So what? They lose and it really hurts them, but for other teams, it doesn't hurt them. What's the sense behind this? It doesn't
there's no sense to it. I mean, we could talk about this every week, every year.
We have
these
for a long
polls
time,
are a complete sham.
Yeah, it's all nonsense. I don't even understand how Tennessee's ahead of Missouri. Missouri has beaten Kansas State, who's 4-2. Missouri's beaten Memphis, who's 4-2. Missouri just won at 5-1 Kentucky, but Tennessee's ahead of Missouri.
Missouri's only loss
all fucking
they had
nonsense.
LSU dead to rights too, and basically shit the bed right at the end.
I can't deal with this shit. All right, folks. Right now we got the airport. They're tied 10-10 against Sam Houston State at the Bear Claw down there in Huntsville, Texas.
Guys, I do like what Nathan Haynes says in the chat. Says there will be zero tolerance for Patty C slander this evening. I forget the guy's name from last week, but I don't think he's popped his head in the chat.
Oh,
it's Josh P or something.
Josh Pate came on our show. That's my theory. Josh Pate is a hater. He's probably out there just catching strays. I don't know who you are, Josh P, but fuck you. I'll try and give you some more stats.
Malcolm, you're not looking at this. I'm not saying what might happen. Like, okay, if Louisville played Tennessee, I might even take Tennessee. But based on resume, I don't understand how they can have that. So I'm not trying to do anything but look at the resume. Louisville has beaten more Power Fives than every school in the nation. There's no hiding that.
There's a feather in your cap.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. All right. All right. Let's
Again,
go.
we should have like very clear criteria by this point about what a good win is, how much it's valued.
Well, hold
there
on.
should be a point system.
That's what I'm saying.
You beat the number one team in the country. That is the number one team in the country. That like the current week. That is worth 100 points.
But
You
Patty,
beat a number,
but the problem is then Condoleezza Rice can't put in the bigger name schools.
right? Right.
Yeah. No, this is a perfect example though. Is Miami loses to Georgia Tech. They stay in the top 25. Louisville beats Georgia Tech and it means nothing. It means Louisville beats Indiana and Notre Dame, beats Notre Dame by more points than Ohio State did. And apparently it means nothing, but for Ohio State, those wins count.
Yeah.
For Ohio State, those wins count.
Ohio
for
State's
Louisville, they don't count.
A hair away
Yeah.
from being the number one team in the country here.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous. This is a fucking joke. Get a large playoff. It needs to be way more than 12.
All right.
It's a fucking joke.
All right.
But hey,
Yeah.
next year will be better than this year. Baby steps.
True.
Baby
True.
steps. Sure.
All right, folks. Let me get ready for week 8. All right. I want to tell you that the college football experience week 8 preview is brought to you by SGPN Second Chance Survivor and NFL Gambling Podcast. Look, you're already knocked out of your Survivor. You don't need to lie to us. Tell us you're, football. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm still in my Survivor. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Look, don't worry. We got you covered. SGPN's got that Second Chance Survivor. Presented by Corey Pinkston and Bark and Dog Properties. All right. $3,000 up for grabs. Winner take all. Starts this weekend. Get in before Sunday. Sign up now. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. We're also brought to you by the NFL Gambling Podcast. Yeah. Look, the NFL podcast guys are doing a review contest. Leave an Apple Podcast review with your favorite touchdown related bet for this upcoming weekend. And the biggest winner will get a $50 SGPN gift card. Make sure you include your user or your YouTube username in the review so we can't, or so we can contact you essentially. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. All right, go 5 for 5 and pick up Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100 times payout. Yeah, and for a limited time only, Underdog is extending their first deposit bonus up to $500. Once again, $100,000 Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players will win $10K each. So watch along, make picks, maybe make a little extra cash over at Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. Personally, I like the Rice Owls. I think they're a live dog at H.A. Chapman Stadium. As you see, they're trying to beat the beer championship record or some shit. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the college football experience. And what was that beer contest they're doing here at H.A. Chapman Stadium Thursday night?
Beer contest.
I'm finding the tweet here for you. I'm finding it.
Real quick, the Battle of the I-10, UTEP was in, or New Mexico State was in the Border Intercollegiate Athletic Association.
Oh, it was a border battle.
The Border Battle Conference.
Yeah, border
Cut
battle.
me in.
Favorite conference.
Yeah, New Mexico State, who was fucking 11-0. Arizona State, UTEP, West Texas State, and Hardin-Simmons. I have no idea who that is, but that is the Border Battle Conference.
State.
Yeah.
West Texas State.
No, that's
like the Permian
that's regional
Panthers,
college football.
Midland League.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Give us that conference. Look, Tulsa will attempt to set the Guinness Book of World Records largest beer tasting event before Thursday's game at H.A. Chapman with the Rice Owls. Each participant required to taste 3 beers as they are guided by a certified Barcelona, Spain current round. There's a fucking whole. There's a whole paragraph. There's a whole paragraph.
Doesn't quite sound as badass as you made it out to be at first. I think the beer snake for the DC XFL team sounds cooler than that.
That's the real beer drinking contest right there.
Yeah.
Can we get this thing to fall out of the
It
stadium.
sounds like a bullshit made up record, right?
Whoa, I didn't catch it. Say
The
it
world's
again.
I didn't
largest
even
beer
finish- yeah.
tasting. It's like, come on. Are you
What,
there? to
everyone
watch
sips the
football
beer
or-
at once?
Yeah, come on.
And we're not here to taste the beer.
Mardi Gras would fuck
We're here
that
to
up.
taste the
Yeah.
alcohol.
That's
in the beer.
that's a Tuesday in Greenville, North Carolina.
A
Get
beer
outta here.
tasting in El Paso, Texas.
No, that was in Tulsa.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But
I'm
in El
sorry.
Paso, yeah. I
That's
don't
still
know.
in Tulsa. I don't think. Come on.
Yeah.
They
I don't
drank.
know.
They
Let's
drank.
go.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to games. I'm sick of talking about all this bullshit. All right. Well, first, I guess we should ask Petty C if JMU is gonna. Me and NC Nick already covered the weekday games, but JMU is a 3.5 point favorite at Marshall. Huge Sun Belt game Thursday night. You know, JMU's never beaten Marshall.
Dude,
First
you
time
have
for
to be
everything.
very nervous about this game. Marshall has played great football in spurts this year. I think the ODU score is deceptive. Who's the ODU running back that had like 11 carries for 270 yards? Look, maybe the big play will be there for JMU in the running game because of that. Let's hope so. Meanwhile, we're facing Rasheen Ali. I want to say he's like number 12 or 15 in the country in rushing. However, I will say
Callaway, I think his name was, right?
Callaway went off on them, but when Marshall needed to, they plowed through and came back and scored like 21 or 28 points in a row. So Marshall's a good team. I'm worried about them. We identified that as a problem spot, especially coming off of Georgia Southern. If JMU got the revenge, maybe their focus was more on Georgia Southern, who ruined their perfect season last year, and Marshall is waiting to capitalize on their letdown. But I'll say this. Rasheen Ali, pretty good runner. However, the nation's leading rusher right now is Kamani Vidal from the Troy
Sassoon.
Yeah, that's Vidal Sassoon. That's right. From the Troy Trojans. 951 yards thus far in the season. However, against JMU, 27 rushing yards.
That is why. I know me and NC Nick already covered this, but since it's Patty C's Dukes, I'm locking it up. Lay the 3.5. The line's telling you.
I was
think
gonna
it's
say
a bad matchup for Marshall.
JMU has the number 1 defense in the nation, only allowing
rushing defense.
I'm sorry, rushing defense, only allowing 42.8 yards per game on the ground.
And you know what Marshall can't do?
Throw the ball.
Yes.
That does bode well.
Matchup for the Thunder and Herd. All right. I know the Joan gets lit.
Like, there's a first time for everything. Patty C might eventually get laid, and JMU might be able to beat Marshall.
He might have to go to Huntington, West Virginia to get laid. No, I'm joking.
I wonder. I mean, West Virginia, I will say, I only went out to Morgantown one time for a college visit. Was that close by for the strip clubs when we first turned 18. But
talking about the Horseshoe?
Yeah, the Golden Horseshoe. Yeah.
Classic establishment.
Yes, right across the border. But yeah, that was insane.
That was a border battle.
West Virginia, Morgantown is freaking insane. But Huntington's got to have some vibes like that too, right?
Of course, you're up there
partying your ass off. That could be a worry for. But I would love to be there for the after party. JMU and Marshall kids getting together.
Oh yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, we should be at that game once we get the jet going.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump. Enough of this nonsense. I just wanted to. We already talked. If you want to go talk about any of the Rice Tulsa game, that's on the episode me and Nick did on Monday. We talked about the weekday game. Same with the Temple SMU boring ass snoozer, as well as a couple FCS Thursday games that we tackled. That's on Monday's show. So go back and listen to that one. But right now, it's time to hop into the real thing here. Boston College at Georgia Tech, week 8 noon slate. I know, guys. One of these teams is going bowling. They're both 3-3. We got a rubber match here. This is a Bobby Dodd and Georgia Tech's laying 4.5. This series goes back to 1972. Georgia Tech has a 3-game lead. Patty C is 4.5 too much against Jeff Hafley, who's coaching for his job.
Vegas, I feel like they have a good feel on this one. Georgia Tech has been the hotter team lately, obviously. But Boston College is sneaky. Still a long trip. I'm gonna roll with the hot hand here and take the Jackets to cover 4.5.
Wow. I'll take the points. Anything over a field goal, I'm taking. Give me the Eagles in Atlanta. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
There's a handful of really good noon Eastern time games, and this one isn't one of them. Surprised you started off with this one, but I kind of agree with Colby. Anything more than a field goal is too much. And you talk about the hot hand. Boston College has actually won 2 in a row.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the longest winning streak they've had since Doug Flutie. Right?
That was UVA and Army 27-24. Both
Solid
of those games.
wins.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sleeping on.
Remember last time Georgia Tech played a home game, Bowling Green came in there and beat the piss out of them. You're feeling mighty confident with this minus 4.5.
You know what? You guys just swayed me.
There we go.
I'm not locking it.
No, but still.
No.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Look, NIU, it turns out to be decent. 3-point overtime loss by Boston College there. Florida State sitting there, still a top 5-6 team in the country. That was a 2-point loss. And Louisville on the road is a pretty understandable loss.
Oh, now you're giving that one credit. That's another thing. They give Florida State credit for beating Boston College, but when Louisville beats Boston College, no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Didn't happen to you.
I think Florida State catches some flack for playing that game close. Although
They
Louisville
didn't lose in the rankings.
That's true. They're still sitting there.
So I'm saying they gave them credit for beating BC. They didn't do that with Louisville.
Right, or at least they didn't take anything
Fucking
away
nonsense.
from them.
Anyway, give me the Eagles there on the road. Gabe, I mean, the noon slate is pretty fire, huh? Mainly because you got a couple classics here. Penn State. So what if they? Who cares if Ohio State's won 10 of 11? They call this a rivalry game at State College. In Columbus, I think they just call it a game, right?
Oh, they love playing down this rivalry.
The series dates back to 1912, folks. 1912. Ohio State has a 9-game lead, and they really got that lead, well, by winning 10 of the past 11. Ohio State's laying 4.5. Franklin, don't fuck me over here. Penn State plus 4.5. I'm a little nervous on Franklin. Because remember that year we were watching at the bar, Saquon Barkley? Like Penn State should have won that game.
They have found ways to lose against Ohio State.
They have collapsed like a lawn chair, man. Just really botched this.
Now the block punt was finding a way to win.
Very true. Block kick.
Field goal. But mostly they have been in a good position against Ohio State and let it get away.
Yeah.
I knew Colby was on Penn State. I'm wondering what side Petty sees on.
I'm all over Penn State.
Are you?
I think they're a much better team. Ohio State has obviously come around considerably in the last few weeks. And so they're a much more dangerous.
The Maryland game, I thought, set them back a little bit from my expectation. I was like, wait, Maryland. I know they ended up covering for us, but we got very fortunate to cover that game. That was not the Purdue game. I was impressed, but the Maryland game, I was like,
I think I was on Maryland, so I was not fortunate in that one.
Okay.
Well, a couple of things, guys. First off, I'm going Ohio State. I'm going Buckeyes. Now, history is on my side. Franklin is 1-8 versus Ohio State, 0-4 on the road, and only one of those 4 games was a 1-score loss. But that's history. That has no bearing on this week, right?
Well, and all those didn't he have really good quarterback play? Didn't we have
coming along?
That's the next point I want to talk about. Drew Allar on the road, because he's had 2 road trips this year against Northwestern and the Illini. Not good teams, and his completion percentage in those 2 games is a combined 51.5%, and he only has less than 200 yards per game passing, only 1 touchdown in those 2 games. So he has not played stellar football on the road, and those environments is not the horseshoe. And I think Jim Knowles, a very good defensive coordinator, in year 2 has Ohio State actually playing defense for the first time.
Now, I'm on board, sort of. I happen to think almost every offense, with the exception of Western Kentucky, which he did hold till 10. I can't put a lot of faith in Indiana's offense, or Notre Dame's offense, or Youngstown State's offense, or Maryland as a football team, or you know what I mean. So I get your point. They look a lot better.
My last point
is good. Yeah,
true. My last point is that it's hard to start a season 7-0 ATS, and Penn State right now is 6-0 ATS. There's some aggression. I got Ohio State at home. I'm with D. Bettis. I'm with Rob Donaldson. Lay the points, and I'll lock up Ohio State, and we'll do a little lock battle here.
Yeah, I'll lock Penn State with you.
There we go. There we go.
Look, I actually expect Penn State to physically dominate Ohio State. Physically dominate them.
We got a lock battle in Columbus to start things off. Patty C, pick NC Nick rolling with the filthy Buckeyes.
Let's talk about Ohio State's performances thus far. Took a while to pull away from Indiana.
Nice 23 on the board. I'm sure you're not concerned about their offense.
Youngstown State winning by 28 is not that impressive. They did blow out Western Kentucky. That was okay. Nice performance. Should have lost to Notre Dame if Marcus Freeman wasn't an idiot.
10 players, multiple plays on the final.
They beat Notre Dame against Maryland. It takes them 3 quarters, full quarters.
Was Maryland beating themselves. You're fucking killing me, man.
So then up until last week, Ohio State
they looked great last week.
Still huge question marks. Yeah, and then they blast Purdue on the road. Nice win, but are we having too short of a memory here?
We're going to be a work in progress this year. You know, the best version of the Buckeyes of 2023 wasn't going to be week 1, 2, or 3. So I think they're getting better, and I think just that home field environment, that place is going to be rocking. And it seems to me like almost everybody's on Penn State. So I love taking Ohio State at home here.
Ohio State always gets public money, man. Just because you heard a couple people say it. Come on.
That is a big spread for Penn. When was the last time Penn State beat Ohio State by 4.5 points?
No, Penn State's getting 4.5.
That's what I'm saying. Well, Ohio State
can win by a field goal.
Wow, I had that read wrong. Of course. Oh, I thought Penn State fucking sound like an idiot here.
Shit. Josh P is gonna pop up now.
Yeah, he's gonna roast me. I was under the assumption that I read that wrong earlier in the week. That I thought Penn State was favored by 4.
No,
absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 31-28. Even if Ohio State wins 31-28, we cash, and NC Nick sits there and mops up a bunch of tears.
Boom.
You know what I mean?
Boom.
All right. Next up. First installment of the Commander-in-Chief. We got this is awesome. This is a great game. I know NC Nick hates this game. I love it every year. And this is why I say the 9 a.m. slate's great. It's not because of Boston College, Georgia Tech, one of Nick's ACC games he tries to sprinkle on us. It's good football, guys. Air Force at Navy. Air Force. Some say they're on another level here. But they are without Zach Larrier, their starting quarterback. He's out. Now they go to Annapolis to take on Brian. And look, this is the first installment of the Brian Newberry Navy midshipman. Folks, let's keep the locks going.
Ooh.
You're on Navy.
I already bet this at 11. It's 10.5 right now, but I say sprinkle the money line plus 320. Navy's defense is legit. Air Force going to the backup quarterback. These games are always, the total's 34. You're getting 10.5, 11. The total's 34. What are you doing? Jump on in.
It is quite tempting. Number one,
13-10 a year ago. Air Force won by 3.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
These games are always super close. I want to see where Navy's defense is and how they handle the running game because
love this rivalry.
Ooh, while you pulled it up last
86 week, defensively.
Ooh, not great
against the run.
Who?
Navy.
It's because they played Notre Dame.
Yeah, I guess that's
Air Force hasn't played a Power 5.
1 of 6 games.
Those stats are distorted.
Well, last week Navy's streak of 9 games winning by double digits ended, even though they still won. Granted, they were pretty fortunate to win that.
You mean Air Force? Air Force, not Navy.
I'm sorry, Air Force.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm drinking. And so, but they still won 11 in a row now. But I think what it came down to is hearing that Zach Larrier, the quarterback for Air Force, is out indefinitely. That swayed me to go Navy in the home dog. I think it's too many points.
This game's awesome. That Wyoming Air Force game was awesome last week. One of the best games of the Saturday slate last week. Wasn't that
was
great?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think you guys are both right. I think Navy is kind of
who's locking it up? Don't be cowards.
I'll lock it.
There we go. Sink ships, loose lips, sink ships.
What
Something
does that
like
mean
that
in this context?
I don't know. Navy sink ships, right?
Their own?
No, they're out there battling people, sinking ships. You know
I feel like sinking ships would be bad for Navy.
Really?
Well, not if they're sinking other countries' ships. Not if they're sinking Russian U-boats.
Maybe you never heard about WW2, buddy. Right?
Okay, but now they're fighting the Air Force. Right?
Whatever.
You don't want to sink a ship.
Yeah, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's not look too deep into this metaphor.
Yeah, don't worry here. All right, you're fine. Take the points. All right, but another game I'm intrigued by that I think let's just keep the locks going. Call me Mike Loxley.
Wow, 3 in a row.
See what she did there.
This
might be a new record.
This line is off. UCF's getting 19.5 in Norman against Oklahoma. Get the fuck out of here. Give me the points and UCF all day here. UCF's coming off a bye. You got Gus Malzahn. He's going to dial up some crazy shit.
I think Reese Plumlee's finally going to be back after missing a few weeks.
Yeah. You got John Reese Plumlee coming back. It's big dick energy. Patty C loves that.
Or as Desmond Howard says, big Penix energy. So awkward.
That is kind of awkward. I mean, both teams are coming off a bye, so UCF gets healthy. But the good thing about Oklahoma is that, if they played a game right after that big Texas win, then it will be letdown city. But having the bye in between, I mean, they're clearly the better team, but not by this many points. I'm going to side with Colby, but I'm not going to lock it because that UCF defense is pretty trash.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Too many points, buddy. You got to lock it up.
I'm not going to lock it.
Here's a little
disrespect.
Here's a little concern. UCF and Cincinnati both have the same thing where they gain way more yardage than they score points. The UCF number 4 in the yardage, offensive yardage gain standpoint, total yards, but 27th in points scored. Still, if you are moving the ball halfway through the season, 4th in the nation, that is a lot of points to be dogs by. So I'll lean UCF.
Still not going to take it. Not going to lock it. Couple of cowards over here I'm doing a show with.
Oklahoma's a pretty damn good football team. In fact, also, I would love to go back episode by episode and see how many times you've taken a shit on Oklahoma.
Well,
you are the slowest to warm up to Oklahoma.
No. See,
and for God knows why. I mean, they are leaving the Big 12.
No. Someone talked about this in the chat, and I went to correct them. I was on Oklahoma minus the points against Arkansas State. I was on Oklahoma minus the points against Tulsa. That was actually a lock of mine. Then I took SMU in the points. I believe I lost that one, right? I took Cincinnati in the points. That was a push. I took Iowa State in the points. That lost. And then I took Texas.
Well, Oklahoma is another one of the 4 last teams in the nation that has covered every game. 6-0 ATS.
How about this too? Oklahoma has played the least Power 5 opponents out of anyone in college of the Power 5 schools. They've only played 3.
Yeah.
Once again, Louisville has played double the amount of.
It is easier to get up against inferior opponents. However, Oklahoma, according to ESPN's FBI, I thought I had this pulled up, has the number 1 resume in all of college football.
That's a joke. That's the dumbest system ever. That's a stupid system.
It's got to be somewhere.
Hit the
in the
lead on that page right now. Hit the lead. Who did that page? We need them on the show right now to speak for themselves.
ESPN Analytics.
Yeah. Analytics just happen to have millions of dollars invested in Oklahoma. But yeah, this is a UCF all day. You know what? And I hate to do this, guys. And this was not by design. I don't have 1,000 locks.
4 in a row?
I do.
Wow. Well, if Tulsa has the record for the largest beer tasting, I think Colby has the record for the most locks in a row.
It just happens to be in a row. There's a big dry spell after this. It's going to get like the Sahara. But look, Mississippi State is getting 6 points in Fayetteville. I think Mississippi State's a terrible football team. I think Sam Pulled Pork Pittman in Arkansas are better than what people think. I'm laying the 6.
Here's where I join you.
Oh, there we go. Double lock. Do we got a triple lock, Patty C?
No, you don't.
Great buy low spot.
It's close because
also
I do think,
Will Rogers questionable. Sorry, Patty.
No, go ahead. Look, I do think Mississippi State has struggled this year. I think Arkansas is better than their record indicates, way better than the record indicates. Obviously, last week's game against Alabama suggests that. Yeah, 6 points is the game's in Fayetteville.
Yeah,
come on,
lay it. Triple lock.
Fine, let's do it. Have a little fun.
I feel like I gotta twist his arm over here. All right, folks, you know what time it is. True, we got a triple lock going on.
Play that.
So, Arkansas -6. Look, Rocket Sanders is out, but I don't care.
He's missed most of the year.
Yeah, they're getting this. They're getting this done. We got, and by the way, I should note that UCF Oklahoma is the first ever matchup. Mississippi State and Arkansas. That series goes back to 1916, and Arkansas has a 4-game lead. 4 games.
Well, let me stop this real quick. Sorry, KJ Jefferson. Tied for top 18 in the nation passing touchdowns, having a good year. But it brought to my attention looking at the stats. And granted, we're only halfway through the year, but are people way more effective, like completing passes this year in college football than they ever have been? Or is it just me? Because
I think it's just you.
I want to say that there are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players throwing over 70% completion percentage. Whereas last year there were only 2 at the end of the season.
Well, that's fair.
At the end of the season, too.
Yeah, I was about to say conference play. Like I said, so Oklahoma just played 3 Power 5s, and one of them is a Power 5 that just got called up. So you could make the argument 2 Power 5s.
Yeah.
You got a lot of light scheduling. The second toughest opponent for Georgia is probably Ball State. You know what I mean? Like you can go
there
one by
will be
one.
slippage, but still, it seems like there are a ton of dudes completing an extremely high percentage of passes this year. KJ Jefferson having a pretty good year himself. I don't know what made me go into that segue. Anyway, triple lock. The Memphis Tigers are 4-2, and they're heading to Penetrobe Stadium, take on Trenton Dilfer. Come take my players. We give up 50 every week, but come take my players. All right. Folks, this is the Battle of the Bones. Battle for the Bones. Series goes back to 1984. Memphis, though, has a 25-game lead. Dominance. But I know if you ask them, welcome to UAB. If shout out to Welcome to UAB, longtime fan. This is the game he was super excited to see back on the schedule because they hold animosity towards the Memphis Tigers. Memphis is laying 6.5 at Penetrobe. You know what? Give me Trent Dilfer plus 6.5. Do I feel good about it? Not at all. I ate shit on Trent Dilfer last week. Patty C, what are you doing here at Penetrobe? Trent Dilfer is making us all eat a little shit right now. That was a super impressive performance. I hate to fade him. Memphis, meanwhile, has played pretty impressive football too. 6.5 seems like too many points. I'm going to lean Memphis right now.
I love this spot for Memphis.
Memphis is favored by 6.5, buddy.
Man, God, I'm reading this fucking all wrong. Going on the score app, new system here. Trying to. Memphis favored by 6.5. No, then in that case, I will lean UAB.
There you go.
I disagree. I'm going to lock Memphis. I think this is a great bounce back spot. They were up 21-10 against Tulane. Tulane is a top 25 team because we all care about the top 25 ranking so much. Memphis was in that game. They were going back and forth. Memphis is a much better team than UAB. We saw UAB against UTSA last week with Frank Harris back. They lose by 21.
That's a hard place to win, though.
True, but I like the bounce back spot for Memphis. I'm going to lock this up for Memphis.
Well, here's the thing: is UAB gave Tulane a game, man. But let's go. NC Nick locking up the Memphis Tigers.
Would you say Memphis gave Tulane a game too?
Both
they were up 21-10.
The same situation. Well, you can make the same case for UAB, I believe. Let me pull that up, but I believe UAB was, and that was at Tulane. UAB was winning in this late second half. I know that, at least like beginning of fourth quarter.
UAB was up 20-7 mid second quarter.
Yeah, and they were still. They had the lead with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. So there's that.
But that win over USF isn't looking as good now anymore either.
True. Very true.
One thing's for sure, UAB's defense isn't very good. They haven't given up less than 35 in the last 6 weeks. So expect Memphis
fireworks
to get off
at Penetrobe.
Yeah.
Western Michigan, we got action on a Saturday heading to Ohio, man. Nathan Rourke, and these are the breaks. I'm pumping the brakes on fucking promoting you. You know what I mean?
That offense just doesn't look right. The defense is good.
Yeah. This series goes back to 1939. And get this. The Broncos have a 4-game lead on the Bobcats. Ohio's laying 17. I went back and forth on this one, but give me the 17. Yeah, give me the 17. Nick, what are you doing here?
I went back and forth too. I mean, Western Michigan might only be 2-5, but I've actually been impressed, in year one under a brand new head coach. But the fact that Ohio lost last week and the fact that they're at home and that defense is playing really good, I went ahead and laid the points. But I'm not going anywhere near this game.
Yeah, I'm not touching it. Patty C, what are you doing here in Athens, Ohio?
I think you guys are a little partial to your boys in Athens. Even though, look, that Iowa State win earlier this year looking pretty damn impressive, but coming off a loss, then again 2 straight losses for Western Michigan. I'm gonna take the points. I'm gonna take the points. I think 17 too many. Yep.
Baylor. The Baylor Bears are heading to Cincinnati, Ohio for the first time ever. All right, you got two coaches that have underperformed. Well, I don't know. Cincinnati's kind of where I thought they'd be, but somewhere in there. Maybe I thought they'd have one more.
It's hard. It's hard watching them right now.
Cincy is laying 4 points. Give me the points, David Randa, but I don't feel great about it. NC Nick, what are you doing here at Nippert?
Yeah, now that it's over a field goal now because it opened at 2.5, and now it's -3.5. This is the Big 12 version of Boston College, Georgia Tech. I'm gonna take the points again.
Yeah, except Cincinnati was in the CFP. I mean,
yeah, I've also lost 4 straight, including the MAC school like Georgia Tech does.
True, but they did beat Pitt. All right, they did beat Pitt. All right,
look, at the risk of making a mistake again, right now, I want Satterfield fired. I don't think he's a very good coach. I think he might get them to 8 wins year in, year out at best, but that's not what this program should be getting. Baylor has played some bad football this year. Baylor is not that good. Cincinnati has played bad football for 4 straight weeks. And I would have thought coming off of 3 straight losses and a bye week.
Now we got a problem.
They would have at least been sharp against Iowa State at home, but they looked like ass sauce. So I'm just going to assume that the pressure is so freaking high on Satterfield and the players that they figure it out this week and get it done. But if they take a loss, I'm out. I want him fired midseason year 1.
So are you getting nervous about your lock battle with me with their season win total? Because at first I was nervous. After that Pitt win, I was like, oh shit, Cincy might actually be better than I thought. And then they kind of hung with Oklahoma. But now has the tide turned?
Well, they should have
a little nervous.
They should have beaten BYU. They made a shit ton of it.
The Oklahoma game, I thought they should have covered.
They should have been 4-1. Yeah. They should have been 4-1. They outgained Miami, Ohio, and BYU by 180 and 200 yards respectively. Those are the 2 worst fuck ups of the entire season statistically, but they did it right. And then they shat the bed against
Louisville.
Iowa
Definitely
State.
Outgained Pitt by over 200 yards last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, look, Baylor has had a lot of trash performances. I think the irony here is the wins on their schedule are their worst performances. Beating LIU by 23, Long Island, the fucking Sharks, embarrassing, right? Yeah. And then even their 1-point win against UCF, they had to come back from. Well, you got to give them credit for coming back, but I feel like it was complete bullshit. They got dominated for like 3 quarters and then had a magical 4th quarter. They suck. So I'm gonna lean Cincy one more time, but Scott Satterfield, Emory Jones. If you fuck me again, I'm out. I'm out for the year. You're on auto fade.
All right, next up, we're going to Bloomington, Indiana, baby, where I have a chance to shut up some people. My over ticket on Rutgers already cashed, but I called for them to make a bowl game, and I have a specific DM that I'm waiting to answer, where someone calls me a fucking idiot. It's fantastic. Fantastic email, right?
We welcome that.
Or DM. Yeah, we do welcome that. This is the game. If it doesn't happen here, it ain't happening. All right. Because it gets a little dicey in November. Maybe Maryland they can get, but
that's a very winnable game.
Yeah. But this is it right here. Tom Allen, raw. All right. Rutgers is laying 5. I know NC Nick will say this is going to be and he's right. This one might be a hard watch. All right. This might be a hard watch.
I won't be tuning in.
Yeah. I mean,
They were like a hobo on a ham sandwich. They were going hard.
It's just an ugly one.
I'm laying the 5 with Rutgers. I know that sounds insane.
You were the one giving us shit for laying about the same number last week against Michigan State. And sure enough, Rutgers comes back and wins, but they don't cover.
Of course.
I was about to say you're a smart man, and I was wrong last week, and that's why I'm on Indiana and the points this week.
Nope, Rutgers smells the bowl game, dude. They smell it. It's in the air. All right. We lay the 5.
Homecoming in Bloomington.
Look, Rutgers might win, but I'm
I got to remind you what happened last year. Rutgers 24, Hoosiers 17. That was a worse Rutgers team.
Let me ask you this. This is the key data point that I think sways my decision on this.
That was at Rutgers. Sorry, Patty.
Yeah. Tough place to play in Piscataway. Okay. A hornet's nest that is Piscataway. Now we're in Bloomington, different set of circumstances. No, what I want to say is this: the Louisville game in Lucas Oil Stadium. They were down 21-0.
And they fought hard for timeout.
And then they fought hard and made it 21-14. Do you take that to be Louisville being conservative and letting them get a couple points and, or do you think that was them being a good enough team to hang within 7 points?
I think a good enough team, but I also thought like Brahms teams were going to get better each week. I know you could say, well, they just lost to Pitt, but they did outgame Pitt by like 250 yards. But, we called that. Well, we knew Pitt was going to beat them, right?
Well, when you look at Rutgers, right, I guess the Northwestern win is a little impressive. Beating Temple means nothing. Virginia Tech win, a little bit impressive. But getting their ass kicked by Michigan, losing bad against Wisconsin.
I don't know if that was bad.
11 points, but on the road, that's I guess
1 pick 6, 99-yard return.
This is a tough game to pick. Yeah. It's a tough game to pick.
This is definitely the best game to take a nap to.
Wait. Over Boston College, Georgia Tech?
Boston College, Georgia Tech has an over-under of 60. Rutgers, Indiana has an over-under of 40. So at least there's some points.
If Rutgers wins, they're going bowling. I mean, Boston College, Georgia Tech. This might be a battle of 4-win teams here.
And what I want to see the list of Indiana or Rutgers seasons lately, but I feel like a bowling season for them represents Greg Schiano doing what he was asked to do.
Yeah.
Can we jettison these two teams to the Big Ten West? Can the Big Ten East just be Michigan State, Ohio State, and Penn State?
They don't want a piece. They don't want a piece of my Iowa Hawkeyes. All right, but the most interesting team in football.
That game would be 5-3 every time,
and Iowa would dominate that game. All right, folks. Before we get to the next game, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be that stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater that is near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll be having at that very event. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create that account, use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create that account, redeem that code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, we are back on the college football experience. As right now, it was great to see New Mexico State and Diego pissing Pavia go all the way down the field and piss all over the Miners to a 7-0 lead. As meanwhile, the airport and Sam Houston are sitting there at 17-all. Next up, we jump to an interesting one in the Fun Belt, Sun Belt. All right, ULM. Oh, it was heartbreak, NC Nick last week. ULM probably should have beat Texas State.
Yep.
Just a tough clip called on the ULM wideout. They were in field goal range to win the game. Questionable call. This series dates back to 1987, but Georgia Southern does have a 4-game lead. The line is 16.5. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But I don't know. ULM, didn't they get their ass whooped one of these weeks where I took them?
South Alabama beat them 55-7.
But South Alabama looks like they've really fixed some things recently as they dominate.
I told you about that last night.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll take the points, but I don't feel good about it. What are you doing here, NC Nick?
I don't feel great about it either, but I'm gonna take the points also. I think ULM, they slowed down that the nice passing attack of Texas State enough to be in the ball game to have a chance at winning. So even though this will be the second of back-to-back aways, I think they can slow down the Georgia Southern passing attack enough to cover the points as well.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
Georgia Southern, number 10 in the nation in passing yards per game. Meanwhile, ULM, if I have this pulled up, number 121 in passing defense yardage allowed per game. So it is pretty remarkable that they were able to hold up and make stops previously. But I think it is too many points. 17. Maybe Georgia Southern, though, a little embarrassed about last week against the Great Dukes. Maybe they bounce back at home and make a statement. But still, ULM underrated. Yeah.
I don't know. That game's hard to get a read on. But let's talk about this one. You guys catch Biff Poggi's comments
about sup dogs?
About sup dogs and about ECU having great fans and great football tradition.
Really trying to butter them up.
Yeah, they asked if it's a rivalry, and he goes, "Look, ECU's been a really good program for a long time. We can't just say this is a rivalry. This is the first ever matchup by the two." And he goes, "I hope to make this a rivalry," but he says the ECU fans are phenomenal. The game day atmosphere is phenomenal.
He smells Mike Houston's hot seat.
Yeah,
and he knows he's a natural fit.
In
Greenville.
Yeah, let's go. This line was at 8. It's now at 6.5. ECU's laying 6.5 against Biff Poggi. Give me Charlotte in the points. Fuck Mike Houston.
Oh, Colby, 1 through 10. Joe Hackney wants to know.
Give us that number.
He's gone.
He's out.
He's gone. Like this is year 5.
0?
This is year 5. Yeah, get him out. He's 0. Gone. He's gone. Man. Now I'll say this. We're 1-5. If he can go 5-1 in the remaining games,
what makes you think they can turn on a dime like that?
That's why I'm saying he's gone. I mean, sure they can win this game, but the other games are too brutal, and you can't have this in year 5. The transfer portal is available to everybody.
I hear you.
ECU wins 17-14, but Charlotte covers the 6.5.
I'm taking the points too.
If they were to go bowling, would you be back on Houston, or is it already over?
No, he can extend. Yeah, we give him next year would be we extend him one more year.
In order to go bowling, they'd have to beat they have to win 5 of their last 6, which includes either at UTSA or against Tulane at home.
They'll lose Tulane.
They beat Tulane at home last
time.
They're
not going 5-1. They're a 1-5 team right now.
UTSA is 3-3.
Those losses were
that was because
Harris.
That doesn't count.
They're a better team. Yeah, okay. It's probably unlikely. They probably don't go.
Get him out of there.
Unlikely.
Rich Rod to ECU.
Very unlikely.
Rich Rod to ECU. It's already the talk is. Look, I'm part of these chat forums online.
Look,
all right.
Finally coming around on old Rich Rod.
Get Rich Rod. Get somebody I can coach.
I mean, I think Rich Rod, especially the way that the 6-1 Jacksonville State. I mean, he might have his sights set a little bit higher than Greenville.
Nah,
I don't know how much.
He's got a scandal.
He's
got a scandal in his past.
That's a long time ago. Water under the bridge.
So I'm saying, come to ECU. We're okay with scandals. Vince McMahon went to ECU. Come on, we're good.
Who's not banging their staffer? Give me an estimate of how many head coaches in college football are banging one of their staffers right now. Got to be 10 to 15%.
Well, Mel Tucker's no longer employed.
Yeah, and they tried to create one. They tried to make one with Brian Harsin. Bastards. This guy's living an honest life. That was the problem. You can't be an SEC coach that's honest.
Road Rash is just an assistant coach now, so he doesn't count. Yeah. He's probably banging somebody.
Can we set odds? Who do we think? Let's talk about this for a second.
Hugh Freeze.
Well, that's a guarantee. That's already happened. And he's probably still doing it. Sarkisian's gone dry. Maybe.
Tom Herman was at the strip club all the time. He was definitely doing it.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm on board with Tommy Herman. I think who else? Who else is an under Biff Poggi?
Biff Poggi has scattered ass.
He's got his own
over
jet.
Charlotte.
Yeah,
dude. Lincoln Riley goes from like a desert of hot chicks in Oklahoma to L.A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it'd be tough to turn down some of that.
Sure, he's got that big ass mansion there in the Palisades, looking over the sunsets. You know,
Lincoln Riley is doing some.
He was at ECU. He remembers those days.
Lincoln Riley might be on Epstein Island. He's got that kind of flavor.
Look, Lincoln Riley, when he was at ECU, he was going through it.
That's right.
Those lyrics are perfect.
His teams might be soft, but never mind.
Folks, this is fun. All right, look. Before we go to the B side, we got a banger going on in Ohio. One that Patty C will be watching. This series dates back to 1941. Akron.
I won't be watching this.
At Bowling Green. Bowling Green Falcons flush the toilet on the Yellow Jackets. Meanwhile, the Zips are 1-6, and I'm going to lose a bunch of money on them unless they win this game. At the Doit, nobody walks into the Doit and gets a dub except for the Zips. Give me the 7.5 and the Zips on the road at Bowling Green. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm with you. Even though Bowling Green is a hard team to get a read on, they're like up 1 week, down the next, and they were up last week, so maybe it's their turn to go down here. So give me Akron.
Ridiculous. Akron. We all bought into Joe Moorhead. The hype,
dude.
A couple years back.
They should be better than they lost the Temple game. They were up the whole game. They should have beat Indiana. They missed a field goal. They should have beat who was it? Buffalo. The Irons gets knocked out of the fucking game. I mean, this has been a tough 2 years betting on Akron. Last year I ended up pushing, and I got very lucky to push because that game got canceled against Buffalo. But man,
Patty, you know why we were kind of buying in, because who was selling it?
Who was selling it?
Dundee.
Dundee was selling it big time. He kind of, I think he kind of swayed us a little bit.
Wait. You're telling me
sense. Moorhead was a good coach. It sounded like a great hire.
What do you mean? You win this, you're good.
Dundee wasn't the only one selling Moorhead. Moorhead was a hot name, and it was a shock. He was being considered for Power 5 jobs.
Last year we didn't lose any money. That thing pushed. All right. This year it's been tougher. You win this Bowling Green game, cash. Next week is Kent State, cash.
They did go 4 overtimes with Indiana and
saying.
Overtime with Buffalo, and they lost both. They're averaging.
They should have beat Temple week 1. They blew like a fucking 14-point
5
lead.
overtimes in 7 games. It's almost an overtime per game. And a lot of close games. Bowling Green, though, their loss is pretty understandable. 10-point loss at Liberty, 25-point loss at Michigan. Granted, every team has a 25-point loss at Michigan. A loss against Ohio, and then at Miami of Ohio, who's also pretty good. Those are good losses for Bowling Green. The hook is a little scary. However, I am buying in
Leffler
to Leffler.
Go, you go.
Patty C's.
I'm going to regret saying that, aren't I?
No, can we clip that? Can we clip that? All right. Look, folks, before we get to this is the end of side A. So if you're watching on YouTube, stay tuned. YouTube.com/The College Experience. But just hang tight if as we switch over to the B side. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience. This is the B side of the Week 8 preview and picks. Go listen to the A side for all the early kicks, the noon kicks Eastern time. As we just got done doing Akron Bowling Green. We're going to stay in the MAC for another game. Buffalo is laying 7 in Kent, Ohio, taking on them Golden Flashes. Ah, man. I struggle with this one. This I'm going to make this is a nominee of the hardest game of the week.
It's not. Auto fade.
Auto fade on Buffalo still?
No. Auto fade
on Kent State. Okay.
I thought that Buffalo was going to be able to hang with Bowling Green. They scored 14 on that stifling Bowling Green defense. No, Nick, you're wrong because they lost to Fordham. You know who beat Fordham? Georgetown. All right. Give me the points in Kent State.
Well, John Thompson always has a good defense.
Iverson He should have played ball for Georgetown.
Yeah,
that's
he would have taken them D1.
Yeah. I don't know. Give me the points in Kent State. I don't feel good about this game. What are you doing, Patty C?
I think I'm with Nick. Auto fade Kent State here.
Dude, 2 weeks ago, Buffalo beat Central Michigan 37-13. They
lost to Fordham, man.
At least have the ability to do that, though.
Vince Lombardi's not playing at Fordham anymore, buddy. All right. I don't know. Maybe you're right. All right, give me Buffalo.
Just 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks ago, however, Nick, it took them overtime to beat Akron. So.
That's true. It's the wacky Mac. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Take the points. Actually, fuck you guys. Take the points. Kent State. Don't bet this game. We got a barn burner here, though. Major implications on the Big 12 race. Oklahoma State heading to Morgantown, West Virginia. It's a series that dates back to 1928. Oklahoma State is a 4-game advantage. The Mountaineers are laying 3.5 points.
Morgantown, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Morgantown, Morgantown WP.
I'm laying the 3.5. That's a far trip. This fans are bananas. They burn the fucking couches.
What if I told you
ass. They got it? It doesn't matter.
And nothing's off the table. Oklahoma State's one of the last 4 in Morgantown.
Yep. And what if I told you?
I was surprised to see that.
And what if I told you Neil Brown has been circling the wagons with all of his haters? That was Heartbreak Hotel last week. They get it done here. You lay the 3.5.
I'm with you. At first I was thinking of taking Oklahoma State, but West Virginia this year, this is probably Neil Brown's best team. We can all admit that. They're 3-0 at home. They're 3-0 ATS at home. And if Garrett Green can throw the ball like he did last week, then that guy's a dangerous quarterback because we know he has legs. So I switched my mind and I went West Virginia at home because I think I've been burned a couple of times. I had Texas Tech going in there winning. I think I had Pitt. I'm not going to do it again. Give me the Mountaineers this time.
Patty,
this one's really hard because I do think
this game's awesome.
West Virginia sitting there at 4-2 losses against Penn State, and then a heartbreaker at Houston last week, and beating Pitt. That's a better win than people think. Beating Texas Tech, that's a better win than people think. Beating TCU, a better win. West Virginia still has a pretty impressive resume. Meanwhile, Oklahoma State has turned a corner coming out of that bye, beating Kansas State and Kansas back to back. 7 was it 7? No, sorry, 3.5. 3.5.
Yeah.
In Morgantown. Give me the Mountaineers. Give me the Mountaineers.
Let's go.
I'm very, very confident in that pick, as you can tell.
Washington State is heading to Eugene, Oregon, in a series that dates back to 1901, folks. 1901. And they're just going to blow this thing up. You fucking cowards. You TV exec cowards.
Big ass spread.
You fucking losers. Washington State on the money line. Let's go. Fuck Oregon. Give me, I'm taking the 20.5. They wake up here.
Dude,
like last week
coming from your heart.
Last week was alarming, man. What the hell happened last week?
They were asleep at the wheel a little bit.
Yeah. That's coming off a loss, though. After a loss, you should not be asleep at the wheel. Well, I have some big question marks now. I mean, Wazoo is 125th in the nation in rushing the football. They are completely one-dimensional, and Oregon coming off a tough loss, coming home. I'm going to lay the points, actually.
Well, check this out. You have to go back to 2013 for the last time Wazoo wouldn't cover this number against Oregon.
That's a lot of Mike Leach teams in that mix.
They're covering this 20.5. This line's ridiculous. Give me Wazoo.
I don't feel great about it, but I'm gonna go Oregon.
I am actually leaning Oregon too. It's sad to say, but I do think that their offense and their defense are too balanced. They probably should have won that game against Washington. They probably should be.
No.
What?
No.
You don't think so, Nick? What do you think? Should they have won that? If he didn't fucking stop, like if he ever kicked a field goal, they would have been. Well, they would have tied the game at the end.
I'm not going to say they shouldn't. I'm not going to say they should have won it, but it was a 50-50 game. Okay, went down to the very end, like we thought.
Yeah. I don't think anyone could say like Oregon deserved to win that game, but
it's a lot.
It was there for the taking, and they failed.
Yeah,
it is a lot of points. By the way, how phenomenal is it for Bo Nix to have gone to Oregon? His completion percentage went from 57 to 59 to 61 in his first 3 years of college football. Last year, 72, which was good for, I want to say, first or second in the nation. And then this year at 79, Oregon has been a revelation for him. I expect them to keep rolling. I think I'm going to roll Ducks here.
Can't wait. Can't wait for you guys to be wrong. Speaking of 1901, this game goes back to 1901. Tennessee heading to Bama. Bama's laying 8.5 points. I can be persuaded into locking up Alabama minus 8.5 because I feel pretty fucking good about it. Remember that they made t-shirts after the game last year. They took the goalpost down to the Tennessee River.
Alabama just doesn't have enough to do that this year, though.
I just think Tennessee looks like ass this year, though. Even like last week's game, like they won, but did they look good?
They beat a pretty good team. I mean,
no, they didn't.
We have A&M has played both of them back to back, right?
Yeah.
And then what were the scores? Alabama beat A&M by 6. Tennessee beat them by 7
at home.
Okay. But is A&M a good team? I think A&M could be like 5 and 7,
really.
6 this
year.
they're
not.
Either way, they're the same team, and you play them back to back weeks.
No, but I think it's personal from last year, man.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The last time Tennessee hit the road, which I think was the first time this year, they lost 29-16 at Florida.
They ain't winning this. Lay the fucking number. This is. I could be talking to a lock. Should we bet this?
I'm taking the points. Actually, I don't know, man. I mean, they just beat Arkansas 24-21. This isn't the same Alabama team as a couple years ago. I'm gonna take the points. Actually,
I'm taking them too. I'm going Tennessee.
Wow.
I mean, Colby's revenge angle is a good angle, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama wins by double digits. But they have to prove me more. I mean,
Joe Milton's got to prove to me that he can have success on the road in college football.
Fair too.
Yeah.
That's fair too. That's
well,
why
here's the other
not
thing.
Bet this game.
You just got through saying you don't think Texas A&M's a very good team. We know Arkansas isn't a great team, and Alabama has struggled with them back-to-back weeks. Tennessee's a better team than both of those teams, and Alabama's beaten them by 6 and 3 points respectively. I'm leaning Tennessee. 8.5. Let's go.
Tennessee plays Arkansas tomorrow. I don't know who I'm taking.
Right? They're all kind of the same. Yeah.
Alabama and Arkansas, that game was up in the air. So I mean, it's not like Alabama is head and shoulders up better than anybody right now in the SEC.
Who knows? What
that's
what Jalen Milroe shows up. That's a good
Remember,
question.
South Florida kept it close with Bama, and then South Florida's giving up 55 every week now.
Right?
Yeah. Speaking of South Florida,
that doesn't hurt Bama's resume though, right?
Right.
Fucking stupid.
Bama's still very alive for the playoffs. Yeah. Speaking of South Florida, Tennessee was number 1 offensively with Galesh last year. They're number 32 in total yards per game this year. Has it hurt losing them? Is that more of a Galesh thing? Obviously,
Joe Milton.
Yeah, it's a Milton thing. Yeah, that's what it is.
Milton thing.
Yeah. Which is weird. He has so much talent.
Stick around Saturday morning. That might be a lock of mine. Speaking of South Florida, they're heading up to the Wrench to get twisted. Take on friend of the program, Jim Mora, and the UConn Huskies. South Florida's favored by 1.5. Get the fuck out of here. I've gotten burned on South Florida a lot lately. All right.
I'm selling on South Florida.
Me too. Me too.
I was hyping him up. I thought Galesh would have it going a little better.
I thought Patty C was on to something about 3 weeks ago. And what happened since then? They gave up exactly 56 points, Colby, 2 weeks in a row to UAB and FAU.
Yeah.
You got UConn coming off a bye.
And UConn got that first dub right before the bye. This is where Mora rallies the troops.
I'm going UConn.
They're calling for rain.
I'll lock UConn.
Wow.
Wow. I'm not doing that.
Patty C.
Northeast football is back, baby.
Patty C said, "Woo! It's go Huskies."
This is the 1-5 UConn.
I don't care. Look, Moore is a decent coach. I think Galesh is still finding his footing as a head coach. And the program is not there yet.
I will say this: a week to prep too. Moore is going to have a nice little game plan for that. Cha. Central Michigan, and by the way, I should mention that the South Florida UConn game dates back to the year 2000. It's a long historic rivalry.
Wait, that's not the
No, that's not the
conflict
civil
trophy.
conflict. Yeah. Central Michigan's heading to Muncie, Indiana. This series goes back to 1939.
Shit, how did Sam Houston get the ball? So
They fumbled. FIU's quarterback fumbled, man. He went to throw it, and it just fell off the back of his hand.
Come on, hold him to the field goal. Hold him to the field goal. Give me the cover here.
You were talking, so I just thought I'd watch the game. Central Michigan at Ball State. What have I told you? They've been playing since 1939, and the series is all knotted up. This is a great rivalry, folks. CMU let me down last week. They're laying 4 in Muncie. I'm going back to the well. I'm dying hard with this chip squad. I'm laying the 4 in Muncie. Central Michigan's the better team. Lay the 4. I got those emails. In the off season. All right. People are wondering where the emails are. Patty
That's
C,
right. He's got a hidden server.
what are you doing? You normally been a Ball State guy over the course of your life, but here you are at a crossroads.
They suck. They suck. It's actually kind of surprising. I almost want to lock this too.
Get in on it. Fire up chips.
Have a little fun. Fire up chips.
Let's go. Double lock. Can we get a triple lock?
I'm not locking this fucking game. Whatever you lock and bet MAC games, you know, you're asking for it. But I do agree that Ball State is complete trash. And also, you got a little bit of a revenge angle because Ball State won 17-16 last year. So I'm definitely on the chips, but I'm not going to lock this up, guys.
4.5, though?
Come on.
I mean,
I've seen a
Muncie
flat
is
4.
a house
I've seen
of
a
horrors.
flat 4.
Indiana State, their only win is 0-6 and is absolute ass at the FCS level.
Shall we have a MAC parlay? Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan, because Eastern Michigan's going into DeKalb.
This one I can get behind.
Eastern Michigan's getting 11.5 against Northern Illinois. Chris Creighton has a double-digit dog in a MAC conference game.
Come on.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like a 50-50 game.
The Eagles are going to soar high in DeKalb.
I just said you're crazy if you bet and lock up MAC games, but here I am. I'm with you.
Let's go. Double lock. Do we get a triple lock?
What Tommy Hammock team is going to show up? You know, winners are 2 in a row.
They're not going to, even if they win, they're not going to cover that.
It's so many points. Yeah, I'll go Eastern Michigan with you.
Lock it up.
No, I'm going to tone down the locks.
Can I talk you guys into a Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan parlay, a little directional Michigan? No, we can call it the Beanick parlay.
The Beanick parlay.
The Beanick parlay.
He's gone from Ypsilanti to Mount Pleasant before to chase an old girl down. You know what I mean?
Was it the one that guy on the College of Charleston basketball team stole from him?
He had the wood panel LeBaron going 75. All right.
I don't know this story, but now I need to hear this.
I think it was College of Charleston, right?
I know. Look, he says Ypsilanti doesn't have any girls, so that's why you went to Mount Pleasant. That's what I'm saying. That's why you made that ride.
What was that guy's name? That shooting guard, Ryan something. I want to say
Ryan. Oh man, I know this.
Ryan Larson stole Noah's prom date right under him.
That piece of shit.
That night he stole her.
That piece of shit.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Look, half the comedy of this story is talking about the various like remote locations in Michigan.
Let's do the Beanick parlay. This is hitting.
All right, that's fun. I'm down now.
Let's go. We are parlaying Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan, and your winnings might buy you a wood panel LeBaron to make the old journey from Ypsilanti.
Yeah, maybe you can take out that girl on a nice date for once.
Yeah, take her to a Bob's Big Boy.
What all you can drink vodka. What's the university that has that, Nick?
That's Western Michigan.
That's Western Michigan. Okay.
I mean, we could throw that in the parlay. We did take.
I was on Ohio there.
Oh, you filthy!
You can fade as part of the parlay. It can just involve 3 directional Michigan schools.
I'm not fading. I took the Broncos.
Okay, so
right.
Scratch that.
There's a reason why they lead that series.
Who's Northern Michigan playing? They have a football team.
They do have a football team up there. And you know who went to the University of Northern Michigan?
Who's that?
Our intro, Jerry Glanville, played linebacker at Northern Michigan. Yeah, let's go.
All I know about Northern Michigan,
the UP.
Yeah, that they have a dome. They have a filthy dome. But I'll be honest, it's a really cool looking dome.
No,
Like if I've made this argument, like I hate dome football, but there should always be one team that plays in a dome, right? Like the Houston Oilers fit the dome persona perfectly.
Dude, that is a badass dome.
I told you that's a really awesome
Northern
dome.
Michigan dome. YouTube that.
It's the only one that we should have in all of college football, in my opinion. Right? Not Syracuse. Not.
That's how every dome should look. It's a rocket.
No,
it's a
can we pull
spaceship.
up? Can we pull that up? What's their record, by the way?
I think it's
right
trying
now.
to.
They just lost 52-0 to Michigan Tech. That's not fun.
Michigan Tech.
Yeah, Michigan Tech on Fox Up. Hey, we get that network here.
It's called the Superior Dome.
Can we look at
badass.
Google image the Superior Dome? You can watch this, folks.
Is that because they're basically on Lake Superior?
Yeah, you would have to think.
Noah, can we Google image the Superior
nice little
Dome?
coincidence there.
Look at this thing. Look at this thing. It is one of the coolest looking domes. If you're gonna go dome, this is what you got to do. All right. If you have to go dome,
hey man, that's pretty fucking unique.
So I'm saying, and it's like it looks like it's from the inside perspective. It looks like all wooden. It's really cool.
Dude, that's a fucking badass dome.
If you're gonna go dome, you got to do that.
Northern Michigan is, except if there's gonna be a place that's cold as fuck that needs a dome.
No.
Northern Michigan is probably.
They play in the CFL outdoors. They can play.
No,
fucking
they can.
outdoors.
They can. I'm just saying, you don't need a dome in fucking Nashville.
I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna do it, you got to do some over the top theme because it's a pussy move, right? And that's why Syracuse sucks.
Yeah.
UNLV sucks. The Houston Oilers did it because it fit perfectly with their pussy powder blue uniforms that were sweet, right?
Yeah, they said we're pussies and
they
we're
had
riding
that House
with
of Pain. That was the name of their defense, right? And it was a fun, campy feel.
Yeah,
you know, you
juxtaposition of shit going on there.
Does Noah can Noah inform me where Michigan Tech is? Because I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
In the chat. All right.
Yeah.
Moving along.
I want to say this. Northern Michigan, the only thing I know about it is Kid Rock, I think, is from there, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
from Detroit.
No. Northern Michigan University is actually up in the UP. It's not what they call Northern Michigan, which is on the Lower Peninsula. Trust me. My wife is from Michigan. I know a little bit.
I'm getting schooled on Michigan.
Don't you use
geography
show you on your hand, right? Don't you have to do something like that?
Well, the hand is just the Lower Peninsula because the Upper Peninsula goes like this.
That's a clip. Nick giving us Michigan geography here.
This.
What you got, Noah?
What's he saying? What's he saying here?
I did it wrong. What, I had the wrong way. Come on, man.
You fucking amateur. You fucking wannabe Michigander.
I read this book by Steve Hamilton, a mystery novel that took place in the Upper Peninsula. So I'm familiar with that. With that a little bit.
That's in the UP too. Okay, Michigan
Steve
Tech
Hamilton.
Can we pick some?
That's a rivalry.
Hey, I showed you that filthy dome. Be happy about it. You learned something new today.
Steve Hamilton was a good quarterback for Georgia Tech in the 90s. Joe Hamilton.
Yeah. Northwestern heads into Lincoln, Nebraska. The last time they played in Lincoln, Nebraska, I went there, and it was like 55-7. It was one of the worst football games ever. But they do college football right in Lincoln. However, last year in Dublin, it was a fucking classic.
Yeah.
You remember when Scott Frost was up double digits and he kicked an onside kick? Hilarious.
Was that
was week 0.
That's an asshole move, but I like it.
No, that's why they lost.
No, Scott Frost up double digits.
Up double digits, he kicked an onside kick.
Short field. Yeah. Was that Pat Fitzgerald's last Big Ten win? I think it may have been.
Yes, it was.
No. They won one this year.
No, but Fitzgerald's not there, dude.
Oh, right. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
The old car wash got him.
Fucking Northwestern is a very hard team to figure out. In consecutive weeks, they were essentially tied with Penn State at halftime and then beat Howard by 3. Who is Northwestern football?
I mean, I guess the book says take the points. I'm not doing it though. No, I am. I can't. I don't have faith in this Nebraska passing attack. Give me the points in Northwestern. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Of course, you were trying to sell us on Nebraska last week. I'm not buying. Yeah, just because they have a couple wins.
I was not selling you on Nebraska. I was selling you on the Big Ten West being total chaos and total ass.
Well, you didn't have to sell me on the Big Ten West being total ass. I've been trying to tell you that for years. Okay.
You guys are ready to crown the winner of that game, Big Ten West champion. You don't realize it's like the Coastal. That shit, everyone's alive. All
I
right?
don't know where the coastal is anymore. Coastal what? Coastal Carolina? I'm taking the points.
Patty, this is a series that goes back to 1902. Who are you taking?
Well, here's the thing that's going to sway me a little bit. Maybe we should be giving Nebraska a little more credit. Maybe Matt Rule is turning the corner a little faster here in year one than we thought he typically does. The only loss by Michigan by 38 points is probably sticking in our heads a little bit. But other than that, 3 straight wins, with the loss in the middle. So 3 out of 4. A bye week in Lincoln. Give me Nebraska to cover 12 points.
There we go.
Guys, I don't want this game to go to overtime. I want to take my 5.5 point cover and just get out of
I'm on Sam Houston. We need overtime. All right. We need overtime right now as FIU, the airport's at the 35-yard line. South Carolina heads into Columbia, Missouri, hobbled. You got a little broken foot. They call this the Mayor's Cup. Don't try to kick this one, Beamer. This series dates back to 1979, and believe it or not, Mizzou's won 4 straight, and they lead the series by 3 games. I don't know what it is. South Carolina can't win in Columbia. That is why I will lay the 7 points in Mizzou against the Gamecocks. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I will easily lay the 7 points with Mizzou. They may be one of the most underrated teams in the country. South Carolina, meanwhile,
you locking this?
I feel like I should. I feel like I probably should. Sure.
I'll lock with you, Patty C.
Woo!
Yeah.
Double lock situation going on at Columbia, Missouri.
I love the fact they were down 14-0. They were down 14-0 and came back on the road at Kentucky. I think Mizzou is making a case to be the second best team in the SEC East. Certainly over Tennessee, or they just beat Kentucky. So who else is there?
Wait.
And South Carolina. Do what?
When I locked the over, you two laughed at me.
No, I was on the over too. We've established this.
No. We're going back to the SEC one. No, but you didn't lock it. You didn't lock it.
Missouri, you're talking about?
Yeah, for Mizzou, I locked it.
Gladly admit that I was not gladly, but I will admit freely that I was completely wrong on Missouri.
I locked this thing. You know why? Because they only had 1 road game all year. That still continues as they host South Carolina.
One stat here, guys. Hold on. One stat. South Carolina is last in the country defending the pass. They're giving up 321 yards per game versus the pass. Luther Burden is going to have a fucking field day at home against
might win the Heisman this week.
Well, how
Lay
about
the points, lock it up.
And the fact that they never win in Columbia. They never win in Columbia.
Well, they play in Columbia at home.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sorry, Columbia, Missouri. They never win in.
We're
going to overtime.
The better Columbia. What? This is a rivalry, right? This is their cross division,
the Mayor's
regional
Cup.
rival.
The Mayor's Cup.
No, they're in the same division.
Yeah.
Need the OT like Patty C needs Jaeger bombs. I do need a shotgun. I'll say that much. All right, let's do this.
Yeah, they're in the same division. This isn't a cross division thing. You're thinking of Missouri, Arkansas.
Wait. No, not cross division, but this is the protected rival, right?
Yeah, protected rival.
Protected rival. They play everybody in the SEC.
They're in the division. Yeah.
No, but they're saying.
Why am I having a hard? It is Arkansas, Missouri.
Yeah, it's Arkansas, Missouri.
Okay, yeah.
So let's move along. We're all over the place.
That
here,
actually
guys.
makes a little more sense.
All right,
all right, tighten this up.
Yeah.
You want to lock? Let's go here. Wisconsin with that cha bullshit. Coming into Champaign, Illinois, where the ground game's starting to get going for Bama. Maryland Terrapins found out about that. This series dates back to 1892. Wisconsin's got a 5-game lead, but the Illini have won 2 of 4. And I dare you. You fire Jim Leonard. He thought he was going to get the interim gig. You got animosity for Brett Bielema, and all he did was show you a blueprint to win games. And then you go out there and you go dairy raid in fucking Madison. Tanner Mordecai's out. Wisconsin's 2.5 point favorite in Champaign. Wrong team favorite. Give me the Illini on the money line. Let's go. NC Nick, what are you doing in Champaign?
I'm definitely with you, but I wasn't planning on locking it up. I do think this is a right spot at home for the Fighting Illini, who, by the way, they are 0-4 ATS at home. About time that changes and they get one under their belt. So give me Illinois.
Patty C, Bielema Bowl. Who are you taking?
Bielema Bowl. Hey, I'm actually leaning Wisconsin here. Wisconsin's version of the air raid, the dairy raid, they are still 32nd in the nation in rushing and 87th in passing. That is as much passing as going to happen in fucking Madison, Wisconsin. Illinois, yeah, it's a great matchup. Illinois is turning a little corner still. I think Wisconsin's a decent team this year, whether we want to admit it or not.
I don't think they're. What makes you think they're decent?
What
win makes you think they're decent?
They've slapped the shit out of Purdue. They kept it pretty close
Purdue's
against
a
Iowa.
2-5 team. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they're not. Maybe Georgia Southern is a decent win. They beat, but they did dress that up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not that good of a team.
You know what, Colby? I'll ride with you. You've talked me into it. I was on Illinois. I'll lock it up.
Go. That's what I'm here for, guys.
Illinois has sucked ass. Are we forgetting that?
Maryland. You had Maryland winning the Natty a week ago.
When you had them as a complete counterfeit a week ago.
I locked up Iowa. How'd that treat me? Huh?
Prior to that, 3 losses in 4 games. Their only win, or for 4 losses in 5 games, their only win during that stretch was against Florida Atlantic by 6 in Champaign. And now
Florida Atlantic's decent.
They go to College Park, the fucking hornet's nest that it is, eke out a 3-point win, and you got them winning the national championship.
But I got them beating Wisconsin because Bielema. Do I got to remind you what Bielema did last year to this foo-foo team? 34-10. Yeah. 34-10 in Madison.
There's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Luke Fickell.
Yeah, he'll be fired in 4 years.
I think they win by
he'll
like
be fired in 4
3.
years.
Are you missing Luke Fickell, Patty? Are you missing him in Cincinnati?
We are.
Lock battle?
Look, a fucking Satterfield makes you miss. I would miss Scott Leffler if Satterfield was
he's right up the road
taking over for him.
You locking up the Badgers?
No, I'm not locking up the Badgers.
Coward. All right, folks. Before we get to the next one, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by SGPN's Second Chance Survivor. Are you already knocked out of the NFL Survivor? We know you are. Don't worry. We got you covered with SGPN's Second Chance Survivor, presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. Don't worry. It's not a timeshare. All right. $3,000 is up for grabs, people. All right. Winner take all starts this weekend. So sign up now. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. We're also brought to you by the NFL Gambling Podcast. They're doing a review contest right now. Leave an Apple Podcast review for the NFL Gambling Podcast. And in that review, put your favorite touchdown related bet for the weekend. And the biggest winner will get a $50 SGPN gift card. So make sure you include your YouTube username in the review so we can contact the winner. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. Go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100 times payout. And for a limited time only, Underdog is extending the first deposit up to $500 every Sunday. They're giving away $100,000. Yeah, shit you not. 10 lucky players will win $10K each Sunday. I told you, Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Oh, there we go. Sorry, watching the game right now. Tulsa. Take Rice at Tulsa. They're a dog. They're a 3-point dog. Thursday night. So when you sign up with the promo code use the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the college football experience, and we got a barn burner here. We got the battle. What do they call this? The Floyd of Rosedale. All right. The series dates back to 1891. They've been playing football since 1891. These two teams against one another. Minnesota leads the series by 7. Yes, Minnesota is at Iowa. But get this, Iowa's won 10 of 11, and PJ Fleck has never beaten Kirk Ferentz while he was at Minnesota. So, you know what I'm doing here. The best team in America. The best team in America, the Iowa Hawkeyes, my favorite team to watch. You know I'm not taking the points. I'm sorry. You know I am taking the points. 3.5?
Too much.
Way too much. 17-14 final. Minnesota gets the cover. Iowa gets the win. Patty, what are you doing here?
For an Iowa game, I guess that is a lot of points, but they are the far superior team here. I have Iowa kind of wrecking shop on Minnesota. Maybe a more important stat to consider here is Iowa, the number 1 corn producing state in America. Minnesota down at number 4. It's pathetic how little corn Minnesota is producing. Corn envy, big time here. Iowa gets the win.
Well, here's the thing: against Power 5 opponents, the most points Iowa scored was 26. So to lay 3.5,
I'm gonna lay the 3.5
goal
because Minnesota is complete garbage. Even if they're coming off the bye, I don't think they have the players to make it worthwhile. It's not like it was a schematic issue. It was that their offense is void of talent. And
no, but their defense is good.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm going Iowa. I'm going to lay the 3.5. And you know what? I'm going to bet this. I'm going to lock it up. I think Iowa wins by 5 or 6.
Let me tell you something. Minnesota's going to have a defensive touchdown. All right, Deacon Hill will throw a pick 6, but Iowa still wins. Maybe 13-10. Maybe my 17-14 was a little bold. 13-10.
That was last year's score, wasn't it?
An absolute shootout. Let me ask you this. Minnesota getting humiliated by Michigan 2 weeks ago by 42 points. Comes off the bye. Has to go to Kinnick. Meanwhile, an emotional game for Iowa recently. Who they just beat? Wisconsin. They probably just won the SEC West. Is there a letdown spot? Can Minnesota
Big Ten West, buddy.
Or Big Ten West?
Yeah.
Still, Iowa a way better team.
North Texas heading into Tulane, New Orleans. This is a new AAC rivalry. They say this series dates back to 2013. Tulane's laying 20. I will lay the 20. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I took the 20. I don't feel great about it, but North Texas just whipped up on Temple. No big deal. They
didn't have EJ Warner.
Yeah, I mean they played Navy close. They beat La Tech. I don't know. I don't feel great about this, but I think 20 is a couple points too much, I suppose.
Patty, what are you doing in New Orleans with your boy Michael Pratt? Goldilocks.
Goldilocks is back, and they're playing good ball again. However, they aren't blowing teams out. 20 points is a little too many. I'm going to go North Texas here.
The Pitt Panthers and Pat Narduzzi. All he had to do was move the quarterback to tight end, and wins were coming. They head to Winston-Salem. Take on Dave Clawson and Wake Forest.
This is an interesting game.
Pitt's never lost to Wake Forest ever. It ain't going to start now. It ain't going to start now. This was and by the way, this was the ACC championship game.
Oh my goodness.
In 21?
Wait,
I feel like 21. Yeah.
21.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get on over there. Subscribe to that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. Wake played Pitt for the ACC.
Yeah.
God, that's pathetic. Okay. Anyway,
I have no defense for that.
I'm taking the point. I'm getting a point with the Pitt Panthers. Let's go.
I'm going to take Wake. I think this is a perfect spot. I think Pitt coming off the big win, and Wake Forest has lost 3 in a row. I think for some reason, at home, Wake finally figures something out, and they beat Pitt.
Patty, what are you doing here? As we got a 4th and goal in overtime for FIU.
Let me try and get your logic here, Nick. Wake sucking ass 3 weeks in a row is the impetus for their improvement.
No, well, I think the line stinks. That's why I'm going to go with the home team, because I think a lot of people are going to be on Pitt after that big win over Louisville. They're going to look at Wake Forest and say, "Hey, they suck. They've lost 3 games in a row." And I just think the line stinks, and I'm going to
basically what you're saying is you smell something a little ripe, right? And you repel from it, right?
Yeah.
You're disgusted by
dive in, Patty C. I know where you're going.
Dive in. I'm going swimming. I'm going swimming here. Pitt all the way, baby.
All right, this game's awesome. They should play it. And by the way, you got very lucky, NC Nick, that Mike McIntyre called timeout, because they did get stuffed on 4th and goal, but you got the timeout in right before. But this game's awesome. This should have been a weekday game. Battle of first place on the line here. The Toledo Rockets are heading to the Fred Jagerbaum Stadium. This game's on ESPNU. Toledo won by 21 a year ago.
Toledo is sussy. They're
losing in this. This is what happens. Miami, Ohio's a home dog plus 110. Give me the Red Hawks to get it done. And Gabbert at Jaeger-Bomb Stadium in Oxford, Ohio. NC Nick, what are you doing here at Jaeger-Bomb Stadium?
I completely agree, 100%. I love this play. Miami of Ohio is very good, actually. They've covered 6 straight games after that loss to Miami, Florida in the opener. They're flying underneath the radar here. Home dog, Miami, Ohio, for sure, man. Let's do it.
Patty C.
They are throttling teams. There is a common opponent, I guess, with UMass. Toledo beat them 41-24. Miami, Ohio only beat them 41-28, but that was at the McGurk, right?
Both were at the McGurk.
Both were at the McGurk. Okay. Yeah. Either way, I think Toledo's been squeaking by. They're an overrated 6-1. Miami, Ohio, a very legit 6-1. Give me the Red Hawks. Give me the Redskins.
There you go. Let's go. All right. I can't wait to watch this game. I did a little Tampa radio before this episode. Tampa, Florida. Underrated strip club city, by the way. Texas is laying 23.5. I don't even think it's underrated. I think it's properly rated.
Yeah, I think people know that.
Yeah. Texas is laying 23.5. Why do you think Ric Flair moved to Tampa? All right. He was in Charlotte and he realized there's no talent in this town. It's going down to Tampa. The Texas Longhorns are taking on the Houston Cougars. This is a sellout game. It's a sellout game for the Houston Cougars coming off that Hail Mary. You know, for a long time, Texas held Houston out of the Power 5. Texas solely held Houston out of the Power 5.
Much like SMU is being held out, Houston has finally struggled and fought their way back in. Look, it's not easy with Texas lording over you.
Yeah. And Dana Holgorsen, is he the kryptonite for the Texas Longhorns? Because not only was he 4-3 against Texas at Dub V, his losses were by like 1 point and 3 points. Like this guy plays, he gets his team up for the Longhorns. So when I see that spread at 23.5, and I know Houston's starting Donovan Smith, who happened to beat the Texas Longhorns as a starting quarterback last year at Texas Tech. Ooh, give me the points in the Houston Cougars. Horns down. Let's go. Patty C, who you going with?
Look, I feel like taking our advice on this game is like listening to your sister argue about your brother. You know, it's completely. I don't know what I'm trying to
break
say.
That one down.
There's an obvious ass bias here for us. You know, we are rooting very hard.
Is it an incest joke?
No,
we're not talking about the West Virginia game.
That was last week.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Incest Bowl 2023. By the way, let's give Holgorsen some credit for beating the old. We talked a lot about the Holgorsen Bowl. He got it done.
He did.
Nicely done.
And he hates the University of Texas. Go back to his W days. This is a system play.
Well,
you take the points. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I don't know.
You know, the line's starting to creep up a little bit. I picked it at -22, and my first reaction was similar to yours, but then I had to think about Texas having 2 weeks to stew over that Oklahoma loss, and Houston partying after that Hail Mary win. And if you look at other games, I mean, Houston lost other Big 12 games. They lost to 21 to Texas Tech. They lost by 23 to TCU at home. I'm going to lay the points.
You know, it's probably not the players that were celebrating too hard after that Hail Mary win. It was probably Dana Holgorsen.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think I'm going to roll with you, Nick. I'm going to roll Texas.
Nobody's ever mentioned this with Dana Holgorsen, but we've said Roy Munson before, but he's not only Roy Munson, but he's also like Roy Munson / Jimmy Buffett. The dude looks like Jimmy Buffett stuff. Like Buffett back in his 40s.
And a little bit of Ern McCracken.
He's got 3.
Basically, every great party machine in the world, that is Dana Holgorsen. He would be real fun to have a beer with. I'm pretty sure.
You know he's going to get a lifetime contract if he wins this game.
That's true.
Damn it. Fucking Sam Houston's going to find a way to lose again. UTSA, it's a big game in the AAC. UTSA is heading to the beach, the palm trees of Boca Raton to take the old folks home. Take on Florida Atlantic. UTSA is laying 3. I will lay the 3 with the Roadrunners now that Captain Harris is back. NC Nick, what are you doing here at the beach?
Completely agree, and I will lock it up now that Captain
I'll
Harris
join you.
is back.
I'll join you on that.
Did we forget how high we were on UTSA to start the year?
Frank Harris, one of the best quarterbacks in college football.
I don't think the market has adjusted properly.
Yeah, and FAU doesn't have Casey Thompson. Let's go. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Held to 171 yards last week. However, the week before, 338 against Temple. I guess I'll roll with you guys. Give me Frank Harris to get it done.
There we go. You're locking it with us?
No.
Okay. Hawai'i is heading to Albuquerque. Someone's got to win this game. All right. Dude, Hawai'i should have won last week, man. They killing me. Just miss an assignment. Wide open 80-yard touchdown for San Diego State. Hawaii's laying 1. It's going to be cold. New Mexico will win this one for old Danny Gonzalez. He plays dirty. He told me personally. He fights dirty. That's enough for me.
Your track record of listening to what the Mountain West coaches said at media day isn't a good one.
But not except for Craig Bull.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for Craig Bull.
You were bamboozled by
Troy Calhoun.
Troy Calhoun.
See, he's a
you were balderdashed by Troy Calhoun.
Classic.
Craig Bull is a straight shooter with upper management written all over.
Yeah, that's right.
Troy Calhoun, classic espionage case there. You know what I mean?
Military training in effect.
Military tactics. Yeah, this is one of the harder games. Give me the Lobos at home.
He really said we're not going to be able to rush the ball this year. There's still like 100 yards more per game than the number 2 team.
I got it. I got recorded. I got evidence. What are you
need
doing
to clip
here?
that up. We need to get Noah on that.
What are you doing here, Patty? In Albuquerque?
Albuquerque. They are. I don't know about New Mexico. Give me Hawaii. I think Hawaii will cover 1 on the road.
Nick.
I went Hawaii too. I mean, I know Hawaii has a good passing attack, and I don't know if New Mexico has a good anything. So I went Hawaii.
You're making a mistake. I don't feel good about that one. We got the oldest rivalry in the South. UVA heading to Chapel Hill.
South.
Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah. UNC. This series goes back to 1892. UNC only has a 6-game lead. Isn't that incredible? You know what? Give me UVA in the points. 23.5 is too much.
This is lock of the week. Lock of the week. Write it down.
Yeah.
For me,
Virginia points.
Yeah, points.
Patty C, locking up the Wahoos.
How much can you take when we lock so many games up? But to me, this is like ridiculous. UVA has played a lot of pretty good teams, pretty close. You know, including Boston College, who they played just as close as Boston College played Florida State.
Good team?
Are you saying they're
Boston
a good
College
team?
is not a good team, but JMU's undefeated, right? You guys have been campaigning for them to be in the top.
They only lost by 36 to Tennessee,
but Tennessee pulled away at halftime.
Lost by 28 to Maryland,
and Maryland pulled away late in the third quarter. And then who else?
You have the NC State one. That's the
NC
only
State.
one.
They took to overtime. NC State's pretty soon. UVA is a way better team. And North Carolina, it's not that they're not a good team. I have to respect them, even though I hate them.
Was a 3-point game a year ago.
Virginia usually hangs with Carolina. That's what I'm counting on here.
NC Nick, you gonna lock it up with them?
No, but I will take the points. I think UNC coming off the big win over Miami, and they see the 1-5 Wahoos coming to town. Kind of hard to get up for that game. I don't think the fan turnout is going to be that great. So UNC wins, but I'll take the points.
This fucking Shoemaker quarterback. At least throw the ball up in the air, buddy.
Go.
Throw it in the air.
That's the over for FIU too on the year.
Yeah, well, I did take the over, but I also have the over on Sam Houston, so that's cooked, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
Sam Houston's better than their record, man.
Pretty short track record here, but UVA did come off of a bye last year and get a dub against Georgia Tech on the road. Maybe Tony Elliott is a great out of the bye coach.
Or maybe he sucks.
Yeah, or maybe he just sucks.
We got the Strip Club Freeze Bowl going on this week, guys. All right. Ole Miss heading to the Plains to take on the Auburn Tigers, who looked like ass last week. I have a feeling this team really sucks. But at the same time, I know it's personal for Hugh Freeze. Ole Miss, he thinks fucked him over.
And the line stinks.
So I will take the Auburn Tigers, even though I think they suck ass. Give me them the points on the Plains.
I'm with you, man. Situationally, the 6.5. I'm taking the points too.
That's a rivalry that goes back to 1928. Auburn has a 24-game lead for a reason.
This is one where talent is
War
a
Eagle.
factor and physicality. Not that I think Hugh Freeze has necessarily instilled a ton of physicality, but Lane Kiffin's team is going to be playing pussy football. So I think Auburn does cover that.
I thought about locking that, dude. I actually thought about that, but no.
Our guy Rob Donaldson says lock of the week is Auburn. Man,
I thought about it. I thought about it.
I'm taking Auburn, but that's bold.
Yeah. Utah State is heading to San Jose, California. Spartan Stadium. Series dates back to 1940. And get this, they're all tied up. It's a great rivalry. It's perfect, right? All tied up.
How long have they been playing?
Since 1940.
Every year?
I mean, a lot.
For the most part?
A lot, yeah. A shit ton of battles.
Low key little
fun rivalry. They even have a tie involved there too. San Jose State's laying 4. I will lay the 4 with Sparty because I actually think they're a lot better than their record. I thought their opening path to the no favors. No
Played
favors.
some tough teams.
USC, double-digit win.
Their schedule might be the hardest in the whole damn country.
Yeah, so they're gonna get it done here. I'm laying the 4.
Oregon State, Toledo, Air Force, Boise.
Yeah,
it's not a fucking.
NC Nick, what are you doing here in San Jose?
I'm gonna go Utah State. This team is feisty. This team plays everybody close, no matter if they're favored or a dog. I like Cooper Lagasse, the quarterback. He's coming on here. I think it's just a field goal game here. I'm gonna take Utah State.
Patty.
By the same token, Utah State's played some chippy teams. Iowa, that same Air Force team, JMU, and then Fresno. God, both of these teams are probably way better than we're giving them credit for. San Jose State -4 at home. I'm gonna go Utah State though.
Okay,
there we go.
This is a fun one here. TCU heading into the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. The series dates back to 1922. And get this, K-State only has a 1-game lead. They played twice last year. K-State won the Big 12 championship against those Horned Frogs. Revenge on the mind. Chandler Morris gets injured, and all of a sudden TCU looks like a national championship team yet again, as they beat the piss out of BYU with their backup quarterback, a 33-point win. They never start Chandler Morris again if I'm them. All right. You see, NC Nick, you see what their backup did?
I did. Pretty impressive.
This guy's a true freshman. He throws for like 5,000 yards last week.
Colby was raving about him on Saturday.
I couldn't believe it. He looked really good, man. However, that means it's also his first road trip. I'm laying the 6.5 with K-State. This place gets lit. You ain't going to be ready for this action. Patty C, what are you doing here in the Little Apple?
Losing to West Virginia by 3 is understandable. West Virginia playing good ball. And after what Iowa State did last week, maybe Matt Campbell's had them turn a corner.
Can I have a beer?
Destroying K-State, pretty impressive. Destroying BYU rather.
Don't worry, Patty C's got a case under his feet. He's got
fucking fire. I'm ready.
Dude, that's college style, man. You are the college experience.
Yeah, but
the case of beer by your feet. You don't put it in the cooler because you're afraid someone else is going to take your beer.
That's right. That's right. TCU's playing too good of football for K-State to cover a full damn touchdown, even if it is in Manhattan. Give me TCU.
Wow.
And revenge on the mind. Come on.
Oh, no. I'm going K-State here. I still think K-State is probably one of the top 3 best teams in the Big 12. And I think TCU is probably an average squad here. And to Colby's point, this new quarterback here, great first, showing, but show me again. All right. So, give me Kansas State, lay the points.
Let me say this about K-State. Maybe you're right. Because the 3-point loss at Missouri,
65-yard field goal or whatever.
Yeah. It's a tough one to lose. And then at Oklahoma State.
On a Friday night, that's a tough spot.
Understandable too. So maybe K-State's better than we're giving them credit for. Either way, I'm on TCU. You're with TCU?
No.
You're on K-State.
Yeah. Come on, a freshman quarterback's first road start of his career. You fucking insane?
All right. You guys gonna flip
football.
me?
This ain't
you guys gonna flip me?
This ain't the NFL.
All right.
With all those bullshit crowds.
Fine. I'll go Wildcats.
This game is almost lock worthy.
TCU's been playing good football lately.
No, I can lock this.
I won't.
You know what? Let's lock it.
Let's go.
Yeah. Fuck you guys.
W-I-L-D. Cats.
Let's go.
W-I-L-D. Wildcats.
Appalachian State's heading to Norfolk, Virginia to SB Ballard Stadium in a series that dates back to 2015. Where were you, Patty C? In 2015 when they played.
Honestly say I have no fucking idea.
App State's laying 6.5. That's way too many points. Old Dominion plus the points. Nick?
Yeah, I'm telling you, App State plays everybody close. Every game is like a roller coaster. I'm gonna take the points with the home dog.
App State has not lived up to expectations, but I feel like you guys are so disappointed in them that you want to fade them.
And I'm impressed with ODU. I thought they were going to be awful.
Is better than I thought, and so getting 6.5 at home, I'm going to roll ODU too.
Yeah. Coastal Carolina is heading to Jonesboro, Arkansas. Series dates back to 2017. Arkansas State does lead the all-time series, NC Nick, but only by a game. Ken, Big Bird, and Grayson McCall, or AKA Grayson McCall, get it done in Jonesboro, laying the 10 against Arkansas State. Arkansas State, ever since they went to that freshman quarterback, trying to remember his name right now, Jalen Rayner.
Yeah,
they looked all right.
No, they just beat a bunch of trash. They beat Stony Brook, UMass, and Southern Miss.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'll lay the 10. Should we lock this?
I'm laying the 10, but I'm not gonna lock it.
Yeah, this is. I'll lock it. You guys want to be conservative Bobs over there? Come on.
I might lock it come Saturday, but Patty C's locking it right now. He says Cox in Arkansas. What's not to like? All right, playing the 10.
Two things I love so much: Cox and Arkansas.
Hillary Clinton said the same thing. She said, Bill, you go to that island. All right. I'm going to stay here. All right. Have a good old time. All right. Colorado State. It's heading into this filthy stadium. Should be at Sam Boyd, you filthy animals. UNLV's laying 8. UNLV's 5-1, and I'm going to eat shit on my lock unless Colorado State wins. And get this, UNLV hasn't beaten a team with a winning record. So maybe Vegas knew something, but I know something about these Colorado State Rams. I know that these Rams are pretty good. Give me the Rams +8 at that filthy roller rink in Vegas. I might lock this. This might be a lock by Saturday. You're getting 8? Too much. Patty, what are you doing here at the?
It is too much.
Yeah.
Who does Barry Odom look like? I feel like there's an actor that always plays a tough guy. I see him a lot in movies.
In the 80s, I think.
No, is he? Really? I feel like he's a more recent guy. I'm gonna figure that out.
Okay.
Barry Odom looks like a tough guy, and even though that's the case, it's a sissy stadium, and they don't cover.
There's no home edge there. If anything, people from Fort Collins will go down there to do Jaeger bombs. NC Nick, what are you doing here in this one?
Well, there's 3 teams that are 6-0 ATS: Penn State, Oklahoma, and a shocker, UNLV. It's hard to go 7-0 ATS. I think at some point they're not going to cover a game. I think this is the one. I'm definitely on Colorado State to cover.
How many?
I might bet this thing by Saturday.
How many times have they been favored? How many times have they been favored?
UNLV?
Yeah,
a couple times.
Let's take a look here. They
were favored against Bryant. They were favored against
Hawai'i and Nevada. They were favored. So
their schedule is laughable.
They're 3-0 ATS as a favorite.
Listen to the schedule.
ATS as a dog.
Okay, take out the Michigan game. Their schedule is Bryant, the Bulldogs out of the Big South, right? Vanderbilt,
that's
UTEP, UTEP, Hawai'i, and Nevada. I mean what is the combined records there? It's unbelievable.
Ass.
Colorado State beats them down. Let's go.
Money line?
I like it.
Money line play.
Oh, I like it.
What's that? Plus 250? Patty C's about to youtube.com/the college experience.
I need a reason to shotgun a beer.
Chad G says, did someone give me a shout out? I heard Cox in Arkansas.
Patty C, when do you ever need a reason to shotgun a beer?
Well, it's for the episode. I don't really need it. I'm trying to mask my alcoholism here, Nick. Look, UNLV is Sin City, so that's a reason. And the next game on the slate, BYU, is a dry.
Yeah, it's a super soaker party.
State.
Yeah,
and Colby and I and Chad G were just getting drunk in Fort Collins a few weeks ago.
That's true.
There we go. A lot of reasons to drink here.
Here we go. YouTube.com/the college experience. Michelob Ultras never looked so gangster. All right. All right. Next up. This one's off. guys, this one's off. This one's really off. Texas Tech heading to Provo. Do you know that BYU is 20-2 in Provo, covering the number in their last 22? 20-2. And when you think about one of the ones they didn't cover, one of those two they didn't cover. You're goddamn right, baby.
Was that Mike Houston?
Yes.
The other, if I'm not mistaken, was Arkansas last year. Arkansas went in. And
yeah, those are the two. Those are the two.
Pull Burton and Mike Houston. you gotta give Mike Houston one extra point. You gotta raise him from a 0 to a 1 just based on that.
So wait a second here. You got Texas Tech. Tyler Shuck is out for the year. Baron Morton, he got injured last week. He might not play.
This line keeps dropping. We should have got in a couple days ago.
You're telling me you're going to be starting a brand new quarterback in one of the littest college football environments in the land? Give me the BYU Cougars. Wrong team favored.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like Mexi Melt's idea. Colorado State money line and BYU money line parlay.
Old school Mountain West parlay. I like it.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I just think BYU is kind of fool's gold right now.
They haven't lost at home since when?
Look, all I'm saying is this. Sam Houston, a 14-point win, not looking so good.
Sam Houston's actually way better than
they're
0-7, but every game's like a 3-point loss.
Yes, they're way better than that. Still squeaking by Arkansas, not looking so good right now.
I mean, Arkansas just played Bama within 3 points. So which way are you going to use this thing? You just credited it.
Fair.
Fair.
Losing at Kansas by 11 and respectable. Cincy was a counterfeit win and then got rocked by TCU last week. However, this is at home. Maybe you're right. Does Texas Tech travel well typically? I feel like they have a big home field advantage that impacts their wins.
This is a future. No, this is. I was thinking Utah. Anyway,
maybe I'll roll with you guys. Maybe I'll go BYU here. I'll go BYU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Elko and the Duke Blue Devils coming into Tallahassee, where, believe it or not, Duke is 0-18 all time against Florida State.
That's wrong.
God.
It goes back to 92. And by the way, that's
again. Maybe Duke can win. Maybe Patty C can get laid. You know,
stranger things have happened.
And by the way, the BYU Texas Tech game goes back to 1940. I mean, that's. I'm glad that's on the schedule. Florida State's laying 14.5. Dude, I love Duke plus the points if Riley Leonard's healthy enough.
I don't think he's going to play. I mean, if you saw him walking around the field last week, he was walking with a limp. I don't think he's ready, which means, first off, this is Duke's second road trip of the year. The first road trip, no offense to the wrench, but at UConn isn't too bad. Yeah. That's manageable. And if you got a guy who, the backup played pretty good last week, but he only completed 4 passes.
What do you mean? That's perfect.
Iowa football, Big Ten West football.
I'm definitely taking Duke now. Yeah.
I'm definitely taking Duke also, but you know where my allegiances, lie. I'm a little worried about this game because I think Duke's going to have to keep up offensively, and I don't think Leonard's going to play. But the defense is that good where I'm taking the points.
I mean, yeah, Blade's taking on the Seminoles. I can't fade that. All right.
I'm just saying, tread lightly if you're betting Duke, though, because I don't have a great feel about this one.
If Riley Leonard is actually playing decently, I like Duke as a potential money line player.
Yeah.
If Riley Leonard's playing, my confidence goes through the roof. Yeah. But I think, I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to play.
I think Florida State may be one of the most overrated teams in the country. Yeah, they pulled away against LSU and styled on them.
LSU has only beaten one team with a winning record too, and that's Mizzou.
Right. I mean, I think that win is super heavy in everyone's mind because it was national spotlight. Destroying Southern Miss, impressive, but not really.
No, Southern Miss still hasn't beaten FBS.
Sneaking by Boston College by 2. Overtime win against a not that good Clemson.
No, they should have lost.
Taking 3 quarters, they should have lost to Clemson. Yeah. Taking 3 quarters to pull away from Virginia Tech. And then,
they beat the piss out of Syracuse.
They beat the piss out of Syracuse, but Syracuse is a team that has no toughness. And Duke is surprisingly a team that will fucking challenge Florida State physically. I think it's going to be similar to the Boston College game. I think the Duke money line would not. I would take Duke if Leonard was playing, but I'm definitely taking Duke to cover.
We're all on the Blue Devils. What could go wrong in Tallahassee in a game they've never won? Army is heading into Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This series dates back to 1931. And guess what? Army leads the all-time series.
Yes. That makes me happy.
By one game, though.
Come on, Army.
By one fucking game. Army's catching 31 against Brian Kelly and his family in Baton Rouge. NC Nick, I'll let you lead the way here. Cause I mean, part of me is just like, he's going to call off the dogs against Army.
Yeah. I went LSU. I'm
laying
great
the 31. I'm laying the 31.
Yeah, I mean, LSU's pass defense is awful, but I don't think Army could take advantage of that. So I ended up laying the points here.
When was the last time Army lost by 31 to anyone? Army does not lose by 31 points to teams. Okay, they will slow the game down. And LSU, yeah, they'll probably get off. The offense will probably move on Army. So I think that's too many points. I'm going Army.
Army lost by 35 at Wake Forest last year.
All right, maybe not that long.
Next up, we jump over to. There was a little dust up in the tunnel that everyone overreacted to last year in Ann Arbor. Ridiculous, kicking players off the team for just good old rivalry fun, in my opinion.
You should revoke their scholarships.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, their coach is on a fucking long distance call, right?
Yeah. Jerking
off to some random broad across the ocean. You know what I mean? And look, Michigan's laying 24 on the road in East Lansing. You know, I really want to take Michigan State in the points. I can't do it. I just can't. Their offense sucks. Harbaugh, it's going to rub Tabasco in their eyes. All right, lay the 24. Lay the 24 with Michigan. I don't feel. Give me like a 42, 14 final. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
You have to wonder how much fight is left in Sparty. After the bye week, they come out against Rutgers. They're looking pretty good, and they just fucking blow that, in classic fashion. But at home, I'm still going to take the points. I probably shouldn't. I'm going to take the points, but yeah, I'm not going to bet this.
Are we thinking about Michigan as first 4 weeks of the season without Harbaugh at the helm, Michigan, or I guess what was it, the first 3? But either way, in the last 3 weeks, 45 points. 52,
I feel like if
52.
there was one he's gonna run it up, it's this game.
You know what? I've been saying Michigan State's on auto fade. I'm gonna switch my pick. I can't take them. I want to. I mean, rivalry, take the points, but not here.
I think tide turning. As I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn.
Well, speaking of tides turning, Michigan State's.
Did I say those words?
Most impressive performances again might have been losses. Their most recent losses at Iowa by 10, and probably should have beaten Rutgers, who's what 5-1,
5-2,
5-2
somehow.
That was pretty good. They should have beaten a pretty good team last weekend, or a decent team in Rutgers. Still Michigan 24.5. I'm gonna take the Wolverines.
Yeah. The Utah Utes, the 2 Utes, are coming into Los Angeles to take on Caleb Williams, who look like friggin' Levi Williams.
Hello. I have no idea who that is.
Former Wyoming quarterback. Last week, Utah's catching 7. Utah's won what? I think I said 4 of 6. And even their losses, I think one of them was a 1-point loss in LA.
Way too many points, right?
No, because if Cam Rise is not playing, which I've given up on that.
Yeah.
USC laying the 7. This is how Caleb Williams saves the season for him. Is they lost twice last year to Utah. They get it done. Lay the 7. Patty C, what are you doing at the Coliseum?
No, look, I've been on USC in my mind as a playoff team for most of the year. I just figured, and maybe it still is the case, that when it comes time to play against the likes of Washington, they'll get the better of them offensively. I think they're the worst team in Oregon, and I think when they go to fucking Eugene, they're going to take an L. But they're not that good. USC, Utah is better than them as a team. I think Utah covers 7.
NC
in
Nick,
LA.
what are you doing?
As much as I want Utah to win again, I mean, they are a different team on the road. I mean, their 2 road games are a loss by 14 to Oregon State and a last-second win over a bad Baylor squad. So, and the fact that USC looked so bad last week, they have to bounce back. I'm going to go Trojans here, but I'll secretly be rooting for Utah.
I think we all are.
Georgia State's taking on Louisiana. Louisiana's laying 3. You know, Georgia State's never beaten Louisiana.
First time for everything. Patty C might get some.
0-5, 0-6, whatever, something like that all the time.
I've stumbled in. A blind dog finds a bone some days, Nick. It's happened.
I'll take Georgia State. I just think they're better than Louisiana. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of thought the same. I was definitely impressed with Georgia State bouncing back from the Troy loss, beating Marshall that badly. And I really haven't been impressed with Louisiana in anything they've done this year. I mean, I guess the at UAB game was a nice 20-point win, but that was kind of before UAB started to turn it on. So I'm going to go Georgia State here. I think they have the offense that can just put up, 30, 40 points, no problem.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
Let's give DeSormo a little credit for getting this thing turned back in the right direction.
Sure.
4-2, 2 respectable losses. I guess
so Old Dominion.
ODU not that respectable. Minnesota maybe not that respectable either. But coming off a bye is Louisiana. I'm gonna roll Georgia Southern or Georgia State rather. I'm gonna roll
Georgia State.
Yeah.
Only a couple games left, folks. Clemson heads to Miami, Florida. This series goes back to 1945, but get this. It hasn't been a fun story since they became conference mates. This is the 5th game that Miami will be playing Clemson since joining the ACC about 20 years ago, right? The other 4 outcomes: Clemson 58, Miami nothing. Clemson 38, Miami 3. Clemson 42, Miami 17. Clemson 40, Miami 10.
I feel like one of those was when Miami was in the top 10 too.
If you added all of the Miami scores up, they would have a total of 30 points. Clemson in each one of those games have scored more than 30 points. So hilarious here that that Miami's just been complete ass. Clemson's laying 3.
At a certain point, those recruiting rankings have to be revealed as counterfeit. You cannot have an explanation for being shitty despite a top 15 recruiting class for 20 straight years.
It's all bullshit, buddy. You know what though? Gosh, I want to take Miami.
Don't. I'm taking Clemson.
Yeah.
I'm locking it up. Clemson is coming off a bye. They crushed him last year.
Yeah, I'm all over Clemson.
Van Dimes is banged up. Even if he starts, I could see him not finishing this game. I'm all over Clemson. Lock it up.
All right. Oh, NC Nick locking up the Tigers. ACC Nick.
Not a bad play. Miami exposed.
I'll take Clemson. I guess
by North Carolina.
I'll take them. I guess I don't think Clemson's that good, but
can Clemson? The irony is that North Carolina had the athletes to just sprint by Miami and blow them off the field. Does Clemson have that? I don't think so. They're kind of white. Clemson's kind of white. I don't know if it's the tailback factor there.
They're mighty white.
They're mighty white. So maybe it'll be
working for Air Force.
Yeah, that's true. System.
Yeah.
If only Clemson had a John Lee Eldridge.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. That's the opposite.
Yeah.
There's all these white guys on Air Force, and John Lee Eldridge touches the ball, and everyone goes, "Whoa, who the fuck is that?"
The dude running at 10-1.
Yeah.
Right?
But they only give him 5 carries a game.
Yeah, and Calhoun. Like I don't even know what to do with this guy. He's got speed like I've never fucking seen.
We don't want you getting a big head, okay? We're gonna limit your carries. You're an airman first.
The guy looks like Marcus fucking Allen, and he gets 5 carries a game. Unfucking believable. Nevada heading into the snapper. Nobody goes into the snapper and gets a dub. By the way, can we just announce who's going to win the Bronco Mendenhall sweepstakes? Is it Boise State, Nevada, or New Mexico? All right. It's going to be one of these Mountain West teams. He's got ties to New Mexico. He's got ties to Boise State.
What is Ken Wilson's losing streak at?
It's the longest in the country.
It's like 16 straight games.
Yeah.
He was quoted yesterday saying, I don't feel like I'm on the hot seat.
I mean, just enjoy it. You gotta just
right.
enjoy it.
I'm doing pretty good. What's that?
I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
I'll take the 13 though, because San Diego State can't blow teams out. Nick, what are you doing here?
You never lay almost 2 touchdowns with the Aztecs. I'm on Nevada.
Patty?
No, I'm on San Diego State. I hate both these teams. I think Brady Hoke, but Nevada's really bad. Give me the Aztecs. Give me our gals.
Kenny Dillingham and the Arizona State Sun Devils are coming into Seattle, Washington, to take on. And by the way, Nevada, San Diego State goes back to 1945. Believe it or not, Arizona State heading into Seattle. Series goes back to the 60s. Arizona State is a 5-game lead. Surprisingly, I bet you would have thought Washington led that series.
Yeah, I would have. Yep.
Sun Devils lead the series by 5, and they won the last time they played last year. Herm Edwards, they had an interim head coach, and they knocked off Michael Penix. Revenge on the mind. Washington's laying 27 points.
It's a lot of points.
I'll lay it.
Fourth quarter cover.
I just don't think Arizona State on the road that they're probably going to be starting a quarterback. It'll be his first road start of his career.
That's true.
Yeah.
That has been like what's the word I'm looking for? A type of matchup that we have looked at and said, okay, Arizona doesn't play well very far up north, and Washington doesn't play well all the way down south. I think it's true though.
No, it's not in Washington. It's Washington and Oregon.
Yeah,
and really, I feel like any of those Northwest schools going down to the deserts in Arizona is always tricky.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Long ass trip. It is like a couple, probably at least 1,000 miles or 1,500 miles. Underrated.
It's a big gap there.
Yeah.
NC Nick, what are you doing here?
It's dangerous with Washington's offense, but much like some of the guys in the chat here, I'm going to take the points. I think it's a couple too many. I think, Washington doesn't have their foot on the gas after that big win. I mean, they win by 20 plus, but probably not 27 or 26 and a half or whatever it is now. So I'm going to take the points.
Yeah, I'm on the Devils too.
The Devils, they lost 29-0 to Fresno.
I don't feel great about it.
Okay. Anyway, final game on the slate, UCLA, Stanford. It goes back to 1925. Thanks for ruining this, by the way. Thank you. TV execs, for ruining just 100 years of history. UCLA only has a 4-game lead too. And they're laying 17 on the farm against the red hot Stanford Cardinal.
What are you doing?
I'll take the points. I think Stanford can hang around. Everyone was like preaching about UCLA's defense. I think that was more like, I think it's decent, but it was more of a story of Michigan canceling the game and them adding North Carolina Central. And then they played Coastal Carolina in a brand new offense week 1. They played San Diego State in a brand new offense that sucks ass week 2. Then they played an FCS week 3. Then they played Utah without their starting quarterbacks, plural, their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback.
And they only put up 7 points.
Yeah. Well, my point is,
I think it was the Wazoo game, which people were really saying like, oh man, this UCLA's defense is good. But then what did Wazoo do after that?
Yeah, a nice 6 points
against Arizona, whose defense is not good. So I'm on Stanford here. Let's end things with a nice home dog.
Patty,
what has Stanford done lately? They did make a miraculous comeback against Colorado.
Confidence.
They only lost to Arizona by 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's go Stanford.
There you go, folks. That's our show. Week 8 in the books. Remember, tomorrow we got the DFS show early in the morning. Then we got the weekend college football bombs with CJ Sullivan. And tomorrow night we got the FCS week 8 preview and picks. North Dakota State's lost a couple now. This is a brand new day and age in the FCS. I feel like you got a lot of teams coming out the woodworks. Western Carolina playing a huge one this weekend against Furman. Shout out to Weehawk.
You mentioned NDSU might have missed that window.
They might have missed that window. They might have missed. Ouch. They better jump in now. Yeah. Jump in now.
Go.
But yeah, they got that going. And then Saturday morning, we'll be back with the pregame show, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And can't wait. And we have a reaction show Saturday night. And this weekend's awesome. Let's enjoy. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter, PattyC831. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__@ICK. Come play DFS with us. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Give us all a follow. And let's go. And shout out to Weehawk. All right. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/The College Experience. Check out all of our college basketball previews that are dropping too, as the season tips within less than 20 days. So let's go. See, it's the best time of year, folks. All right. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. They'll be going live in about 26 minutes. And they're also live from Las Vegas every Friday night on VSiN, Brent Musburger's network. If you have YouTube TV, you have VSiN, 9:00 Pacific every Friday night. YouTube TV, Sports Gambling Podcast, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, folks. Till next time, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot.